the regular meeting of the City Commission and CRA. I'm Vice Mayor Lori, and I will be filling in for a little while Mayor Michelle Myers is dealing with a medical emergency. So she is fine, everything's okay, she will be joining us hopefully shortly. So until then, you got me. So let's, if Commissioner Moore, you will do an invocation and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you're able.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we want to thank you for our rising on this morning. We thank you for your grace and for your mercy. We thank you for you took care of us and looked over us all night long, and you kept us safe from all hurt, harm, and danger. And dear Lord, we ask you to continue to look over the bereaved families, bless those that are still mourning, have mercy upon them, give them grace and understanding that you're too wise to make mistakes. And Father God, we ask that tonight that you will send a special blessing and a special touch over Cody Frank on tonight. Have mercy upon him. Give him grace, oh God. Let him know that you're able and you're with him and you will see him through. Also, we pray prayers for his family. Have mercy upon them also. And Father God, we ask that you be with us tonight. Continue to give us understanding and knowledge to be able to do thy will. We ask that you bless us, help us to do those things that will be pleasing in your sight. We will forever praise you and give you the honor. All these blessings we do ask in thy Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you can do a roll call for us.
Commissioner Ward,
Present.
Commissioner DeVita,
Present.
Commissioner Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Burton,
Here.
Derek Martin, City Manager,
Here.
Don Holmes, City Attorney.
Here.
Steve Coughlin, Finance Director,
Here.
Bertie Allender, Accounts Payable.
Here.
And myself, Pamela Taylor.
And Major Usher.
Oh, Major Usher,
Here.
thank you.
Okay.
And Mayor Myers is absent.
She will be joining us. Thank you. Next we have announcements, which is always the time that I pay attention to other things while she's talking. So I will be doing this. We have a lot going on this month. We have the Downtown Partnership. We'll be holding a vintage market, the Vintage and Artisan Market. That's March 20th and 21st, Friday and Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m. It'll be down on 6th Avenue at around 310, which is where the headquarters are. I got that right. Then we have the Philippine Peninsula Historical Society is having their monthly meeting next Thursday. The speaker is Ross Lamore, and he's going to be talking about the story of Chinsangat Hill, which is an old house that's over in Brooksville. It's a really neat place that he'll be telling us all about that. Also, we have the Women's Club events. What you have there? Or
No, this is more handed to get to you. This is for Downtown Partnership.
Okay.
Maybe
That's,
Ms. Cadillac
yeah.
assists.
First, the Women's Club also is having Mardi Gras dinner and dance on March 14th at 6 p.m. The cost is $15. It says come dressed in your Mardi Gras attire, yes. There's gumbo, cornbread, and king cake, so always good. Also, the Women's Club has bunko on March 18th from 1 to 3. And then bingo, dinner bingo on March 20th. Doors open at 5 and bingo starts at 5:45. There's another event that the Women's Club is doing somewhere. It's the health, where is it, the health?
Health fair.
Yeah, the health fair, do you know where
I don't remember the date.
what is it?
28th.
28th, okay?
The March.
Of March. And they're having all kinds of people there to help with your fitness and take your vitals and give you all kinds of advice down there.
11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
11 a.m. to 1 p.m. There we go. Also, we have, what else do we say? Well, of course, I can't forget the Catfish Festival. The Rotary Club of Crescent City will be having the Catfish Festival, April 4th, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if any of you guys have not heard about it, you can just ask somebody. It's a great event, and the parade will be at 11 a.m. So commissioners, make sure that you make arrangements so we can all get there together and be in the parade. And then there's and one of the best things this year, the Rotarians are going to set up so that you can do credit card and card payments at the booths, so you don't have to worry about cash. We're working very hard to make that happen. It's a task, but it'll make it a lot easier and a lot more fluid, hopefully. And is there anything else I'm missing? Oh, the soda boat races. I just did that. Yeah, on April 11th and 12th, the Southern Alabama Dragger Association will be having their boat race on Crescent Lake, and that's going to be Saturday and Sunday from noon to 6, I think, yeah. But it's the weekend after Catfish, so it'll be a lot of fun. They're going to be coming back, and we're really excited about that. So, there we go. Those are our announcements. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes. Now, there's been a request that we move these to the end of business. If I could get a motion to move the minutes to after business and before the city manager report, I think that would make everyone a lot happier.
Okay, so moved. I move that we reorder our agenda so that the approval of the minutes will be taken up after business items and before the city manager's report.
Okay, that's a motion by Commissioner Vita, second by Commissioner Burton. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we'll do that. Next, we have public comment. And I don't have any cards. Is there anyone here that, from the public that has any comments that is about an item that is not on the agenda? If you will come up and state your name and your address.
Good evening, board. My name is Elizabeth Gomez, 19 Cedar Street. And I went walking by Dexter Park and I noticed that the chain link fence, again, the metal pole is bent very badly. And what I'm thinking, because I had to work with this with the mayor last year because they were stretching the fence to get through it. You know, they didn't want to walk all the way around. I'm thinking that the public is letting you know that maybe they would like an entrance there because, you know, people start spending the day, they get tired, they bring heavy coolers, and maybe that's what did the event, a heavy cooler full of drinks, and they took it over the fence and maybe somehow it dropped on the chain link. So maybe that's something that the board can take in consideration, maybe making an entrance there by that gazebo or that picnic table. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. I'm not sure where exactly we're talking about, but I do know that the reason there's a fence along the road there is that kids don't just go out on the track. Right. Yeah, I mean.
But she's suggesting a gate,
Right.
Or an entrance, an open
just an open.
place that they can
But see,
go.
that's what he's saying, you know, if it's open, kids can dart out, or a dog, well, not a dog, excuse me, but something can dart out and get hit by a car right there, it's kind of a busy area. But is it on the main,
Yeah, it's on the north side, that corner is
yeah,
completely bent, the metal pole.
okay,
So people are lifting heavy stuff over it because they're getting lazy and they don't wanna do the whole walk.
okay.
I always did find it was weird that fence is long there, but it's for safety reasons. But if you can have.
Well,
have
the
a
way
public
that you,
works director,
I think we
Take a
should
look at
do this, but the way you can do it is it doesn't have to be straight out, you can
Right.
do a,
if we
like
can,
an L shape, like you do they gotta do an L shape, so people can't just dart out, you know what I'm saying?
and if I'm correct, I believe on the north side of Dexter Beach is not our property, is that correct? So that's also why there's a fence that goes down and around. But if you can have Rex, Keith, take a look at it and see if we can repair it, at least, and see if there's something that we can do about that. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Warren, if I could.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's room, and I agree, I don't think that's our property on the north side, and I don't know if there's room, but if you want to put a gate and you're worried about kids getting out, I don't know. There are those, somebody could always leave it open. There's the ones that are too tall for kids, the resource for adults, but anyways,
We can maybe take a look at it.
let public works
Options, yeah.
deal with that.
Okay. Any other public comment? Can you come up to the podium, please?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Angel Dew from 404 North Lake Street, Crescent City, Florida, 32112. Wow! You can make me turn around. Not really. I just wanted to add that 2 additional events for the month of June. Juneteenth is finalized June 19th.
Okay, great.
And 5 years ago, we did a carnival at the last minute, within 4 days, and they drew several hundred people to the carnival. But then they were discontinued because there were so many accidents. So the state of Florida rides, the state, not mine, the state of Florida curtailed that. And just such time people could get better equipment, because several people passed away, others were hurt throughout the state of Florida. So that's 3 years or less without a carnival. So finally, someone heard about a carnival that we did. They own the equipment, so they come. Hallelujah, that's great. So they want to do a carnival in June, around Juneteenth. Spoke with the gentleman today, because he had been in Europe with a carnival for a while. And it'll be a 4 to 5 day event with setting up, et cetera, So how wonderful is that? Because you have Juneteenth, and you have the carnival combined across the street from each other. So you see what's gonna be happening, a lot of movement, a lot of traffic, a lot of business. And what we did in 2009, we put together a survey for those businesses to find out what, if any, increase in their sales. It was phenomenal, and they were happy to fill those forms out. So thus we bring in economic development, we bring ethnic groups together, we bring families, and everybody's just gonna come out a grand time, okay? So I hope to have all the information Monday, because the owner of the carnival is back, I got the paperwork ready, had to get the insurance. The question I want to ask on insurance, he has $3 million in insurance, right, which would be up to the city. If he has insurance, do I have to get insurance as I would be doing for Eagle Park, where Juneteenth is being held?
That's a great, question for Mr. Martin here.
Mayor?
Yes.
I think it would be more efficient in terms of time. I think that should be worked out during the permit application process. And we're not really supposed to answer questions during the public comment. Because we don't hear that.
Okay, fantastic.
Reach out to me as soon as possible.
Okay.
I think this is a great.
No, I love it. We love events.
Yes.
It's really good.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Mrs. Dew.
Thanks, guys.
Any other public comments? Okay, moving on, Manager Estrie.
Sir, before we get started, if I may, I would like to introduce Bertie, a new employee. I wanted to take the time in presentation since we didn't have that. I put a briefing in front of you all on Bertie's bio. We're really glad to have Bertie as part of our team. I believe she's fitting very well with Steve, and she's helped us out tremendously just in a short time. So please, Bertie, if you could just come up over this way, or even right there, if you want to say you're more comfortable over there, but say hello to everybody. I know you've met them. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. So far, I'm doing it and working with a good team. Didn't know any of them when I came on board, but we really have gelled and are doing well. I'm really pleased to be here.
And I will add that in talking to Bertie, she informed me that she was born here in Putnam County in Crescent City. They went to Black and they came here to see the doctor. So you are as homegrown as they come, so we know that you're gonna do well here, so.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
A great experience, work, body of experience here, so hopefully Steve, will treat you well. Not to say that it was Steve's fault, but we have had a little bit of turnover in that position, but it's all good.
Birdie can definitely handle the load. She's already proven herself just in the short time that she's been here, and we're very pleased to have her and thankful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Birdie.
I'm sure Steve will be happy to have her, so. Okay, Major,
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I got something I want to pass along to you from Allison, our PIO, before I get started on the presentation. I think we kind of dropped the ball on this maybe last year, but on April 21st, and I know we're going to be between then, at 7:15 at the amphitheater in Black at downtown along the riverfront, that will be the 2026 Law Enforcement Memorial. Again, that's going to be starting at 7:15 on April 21st. You don't have to write it down now. I'll make sure that I get with the city manager and get that information in a formal document to you guys that he can send out to you. But I just want to make sure you guys were aware of that. Again, I'll get that to him in a formal document, that way he can pass it on to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Getting started, it seems like I've got a lot of feedback from the Soul Food Festival. We had a little hiccup out there at front when we started off with the parade. However, we got that all rolling, and it seemed like everyone had a good time, and we had a good showing from what I understand.
And I want to commend you guys, that, yeah, I was there at the beginning when we had a little bit of, miscommunication, but that was the best crowd control for a parade I've seen. Because, I mean, the fire truck was down blocking traffic and diverting people, and there wasn't I didn't see one car coming the other way or anything, so you guys, it was confusing at the beginning for a few seconds, but you guys,
Very short, very short time.
but Chief Razor was there, and I knew that you guys would handle it, but it all worked out great. I felt safer than ever before, and I didn't see any cars going anywhere else, so that's good. Hopefully we can repeat that for Catfish.
Okay, well, so we'll take a look at the presentation here. Very good month. We had one theft case that was closed by arrest, and this is all the other stuff that was stemming from Kyle Baumgartner. I said that in last month's presentation. He is actually still incarcerated in our facility right now. But unfortunately, he went on into this month, which was on the 1st.
Okay.
And this was another theft that was closed, and obviously we charged him with said crime. One traffic crash. Two vehicles traveling on Summer Street. One vehicle turned to pass the other. I know they were going the same direction, and this is weird, but basically the car turned to pass the other one coming from the inside lane. And I just trying to go across two lanes, somebody in your blind spot not paying attention, and collision occurred.
Do you know where this was?
What's that?
Where was this?
It was on Summer Street, but it was near, what's the one there north of the fire station? Is that Eucalyptus?
Eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus. Yeah, it's across the street there, I'm sorry.
That's right, that's what I'm about.
Here's your general activities. Traffic stops are way down, anomaly. I don't know what happened there, so I have to do some research. 191 calls for service. We'll get one traffic accident, 13 total reports, 3 arrests, and 2 warrant affidavits. A lot of the hype you see there in last month from this month is that was when we sparked when Kyle Baumgartner started doing his thing, and we did what we call a pattern. And once it strikes a pattern, there's a lot of moving parts that start happening there. Our street crime unit, things like that, our crime suppression team, they see this pattern and they come out here and start doing their work. So that's probably why you see the spike there and with all of his arrests and.
So those would be other things that came up that they were down here and they happened to take care of.
When we call a pattern, when you have somebody, I'll just give an example, when you have a burglary and you have another theft, and it's one of those crimes that we're monitoring, you will notice an influx of police officers in a certain area, because that is their primary job, is to go to that area and work within about a 1 mile area of the geographical area where we say that hot spot is. So that's their job, and that's their only job. 6-month crime comparison. Again, you can see Baumgartner struck and went to jail, and now we're seeing the relief of that.
Right.
It's crazy what one person can do in the city.
Yep.
And that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me. Good ones, hopefully we'll shoot that one.
I just have
one comment. I read a news story, I think it originated out of Jacksonville, but it was about a traffic stop made by the Sheriff's Department deputy in the Crescent City area. I hope the story was accurate, because it seemed to be a Putnam deputy sheriff. And this was the case where, the guy driving the car was speeding, and it turned out he was, an adult male, with a 16-year-old missing girl from North Carolina or somewhere like that in the car. And to me, fortunately, number one, he stopped the speeder. Secondly, he got, a young girl who did not need to be with someone with drugs and whatnot in their car, back home. And this could have been any serious crime. It could have been a crime that was going to be committed locally. It happened to be someone from out of state. But I just really commend the alertness of the deputy, and just wanted to thank y'all for being there and doing those traffic stops and turning up a very serious situation that got solved. So it's, to me, it's the value of having law enforcement there. Thank you.
Yes, that traffic stop was just south of Crescent City, as a matter of fact, and the deputy that was working that day was Officer Shooting, who was working Crescent City that day, fortunately. So obviously, we appreciate the support from you guys, and ended up catching the car speeding, stopping the car, the story from there. The young female in the car, can't get much information, but gives was found to be 16 years old and missing out of North Carolina. Our suspect in that was 37 years old and was headed supposedly down to Daytona. He was found with drugs in the car and counterfeit money. So that was a save, is what that was. Probably with no intention to her going back.
Right.
So
That's a good thing.
was great, yes,
And you never know what the next thing will be, so thank you.
yes. And you can see, if you watch the video, you'll see some of the news media stuff on it, how comfortable she was with him. So there was obviously some type of grooming or something like that going on there.
You were there, you guys were there, so. Any other questions? You're good,
Thank you.
okay? On the agenda, we have next, our CRA meeting. I was, asked by the mayor to wait until she got here to, go on to the subject. So it's up to you commissioners, if I could get a motion, that we postpone this. Is that the, I don't know where you want to put it in the agenda. You just wait until she gets here and go back to it.
Do we,
We have other items that we can obviously discuss, and she's just supposed to be here by 6, supposedly, so.
well, I guess I'll make a motion that we defer opening the CRA meeting until maybe give it a time certain till the end of the business items.
Okay.
And then in the event the mayor's not here, we would, out of courtesy, go ahead and tie it up.
Right.
So that's my motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll say,
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We will, put that on the back burner for a moment. Sorry, everyone that's here, but she wants to be here. She doesn't trust me, I guess. Your next item on our agenda, is, I'm just kidding, is the consent agenda. And commissioners, you see the consent agenda. We have 2 items, the federal grant finance policy approval, and then the approval of the 2024 audit, James Moore Company. I talked to the city manager, we need to take that audit item separate, I believe, because we need to make a motion to approve that on its own, so that we have that for our USDA. So, anybody, there's only one other item, but if,
Do we need
I need a
to
motion.
pull it from?
no, we can pull it, whoever decides to pull it, it's pulled. So we'll discuss that next. So I just need a motion to approve the consent agenda, one item on it.
Okay. I move that we approve the single item on the consent agenda, that being the federal grant finance policy approval that is in our packets.
Can I second?
I'll second.
Okay, so probably moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Commissioner Lloyd,
Yes.
I have a question. We adopted a new policy on consent agenda. Are we required to ask whether there's any public comment before we vote?
wasn't that in the policy?
So,
That the public can't pull it?
Yeah, pull it,
That is correct. Okay, I'm sorry, thank you for,
Sure.
is there anyone, from the public that has a comment on any of the consent agenda items?
If they do that,
Seeing none, we'll move on. Can I get, it's been probably moved and seconded, by Commissioner Vito, to approve the consent agenda and seconded by Commissioner, Burton. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
So I think it's entirely appropriate that that be your policy, that the public be allowed to comment should they wish on a consent agenda item. Their comment might prompt one of you to pull it. While they can't pull it, they can make a comment that might suggest to you that it should be pulled. So that allows them to have a say-so or input into your items, even though it might be on a consent agenda.
Thank you, Attorney Holmes, appreciate that. It's new, we just started this. Okay, so let's take the next item, that being the approval of the 2024 audit for James Moore Company. As you all may recall, you want
Sure, yes, sir, thank you. So I'm looking at, in my briefing, I'm seeking commission approval for the fiscal year 2024 audit, which was previously presented and accepted, but not formally approved by the commission. That was in January 8th of this year. The USDA is requiring an official meeting minutes documenting the approval to complete its annual monitoring closeout, maintain compliance, and preserve the city's eligibility for USDA funding and other federal grants.
Okay, so, I was wondering about that, I thought after we discussed it, whether I thought we needed to make a motion, but I think we did not. So I'll entertain a motion, commissioners.
I move that we approve the annual, audit for the fiscal year 2024 that was presented to us by James Moore and Associates on January the 8th, 2026.
Okay,
I'll second.
been moved by Commissioner DeVito, seconded by Commissioner Burton. Do we need to do a roll call?
I just have one comment if I may. So, Commissioner Roy, I remember in January, I asked, shouldn't we vote to accept the audit? And, because we always have done that in the past. And so I'm thinking, it's probably better if we go ahead and vote to accept it when they present it. And then people could make a comment, or ask a question, whatever, and obviously it's needed, but now we know. Okay.
Well, and I believe that, that would be the proper procedure. We just noticed that it was not in the minutes, and we have to submit them for USDA to make sure that we're compliant, so
Right.
that's the reason we're doing it now, so.
Right, but we decided in January not to take a vote, and we probably should just go ahead and do that.
And that's what we're doing now. So all those in favor of accepting the fiscal year 2024 audit, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. You're welcome. Next on the agenda, recommendation for the CRA-MAC, I don't know why there's so many letters here, the CRA manager.
Yes.
So,
This briefing, or my briefing that you all have in front of you for Bonnie Loveday, presents a recommendation to appoint her as the next city's CRA manager and assistant city manager. Bonnie has over 20 years of relative experience and relevant experience and strong support from senior staff following a very thorough vetting process, multiple meetings. She is considered well suited for the dual role. I'm asking commission authorization and requesting to extend a formal employment offer contingent on background check finalization and drug testing.
okay, and is she here?
She is here.
I was assuming that was you, because I didn't recognize them. Is there anything that you want to introduce her? Or
I would like for her to come up and say hello. Come up, Bonnie.
Come on up.
Everybody, this is Miss Loveday. She is a resident here in Crescent City.
We've heard a lot about you,
Yes,
and we're very excited.
I'm very excited too. Thank you for the opportunity.
I hope that you will like us here, but I know that it will save you some driving, which is always a positive in my mind. You don't have to drive an hour and a half every day. So commissioners, I'll entertain a motion as far as, because if I'm correct, the reason we're doing this is you interview to go through the process, but according to our charter, it's kind of vague, I don't know. Can you tell us what the charter, it actually says something about the city manager recommends director or recommends employees to be appointed or something, and I'm not quite sure what that means.
And her position is not necessarily a director position, but she is overseeing and would be overseeing their staff.
So it was my advice to the city manager that as good practice, and in order to make certain that the commission had no concerns or objections that might arise, that they might advise him of later, that they had before he made the hire, that we go through this process. I don't know that the charter absolutely requires it, because he does have the power to hire and fire to an extent. And I don't have the charter in front of me right now, but I thought that as a matter, and I still think as a matter of practice, when you're hiring a position, quite frankly, in this small town, with the small number of employees you have, and the need for everyone to work closely together, it's probably good practice on almost every hire that he makes, but certainly on one that's going to be of some substance. So I guess you can consider it what you would in terms of the approval process, but a vote of confidence could be something that it could be termed. Again, I don't have the charter in front of me right now, so I don't remember if there's a specific provision in it that speaks to it, but I think that for a lot of practical reasons, it's just the right way to go.
Could I say something?
Yes.
So I do look at the charter quite a bit, and sometimes we have to. I was surprised to see this on the agenda, and I asked our city manager about it. My recollection of the charter is that it says department heads that are specified in the charter, and that other such department heads of departments that the commission may create as in our policies and procedures, that those need commission approval to hire and to terminate. Not everybody else. So I do think it's a wonderful idea to introduce, is it Loveday?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I get that right, Miss Loveday. I really appreciate that. I just want to make sure we don't infringe on the city manager's responsibilities, which are also in the charter, which authorize him to run the city. So, I mean, I'm not really comfortable saying we have to approve her. I mean, that, to me, that leads to how many others, because one thing, our city manager, as I understand it, is also our CRA director.
Yes.
And this person is a manager, and not everybody here who directs, I don't know. I don't want to infringe on the authority of our city manager, although I want to welcome Ms. Loveday.
So as a practical matter, from his perspective, city manager's perspective, I think it's preferable for him to bring matters of this type in front of you to see if some of you have an objection. Semantically, you can call it what you wish, but I think that's preferable than having him go ahead and make the appointment and then face criticism from one or more of you because he appointed someone that you didn't know about or have an opportunity to talk to or question or have any input into at all. So I guess I don't think he considers it an infringement of his responsibilities. And we talked about it on the phone. I thought it would be something that you would consider to be courteous. And if you had some, I don't know what you know about any of the people that he brings in front of you. So if you had some question, concern, better raise it now than a month from now. So that was my thinking when I suggested to him that he do this. He was perfectly willing to go forward without it. But as I said.
And that was my advice also when he asked me about it, but I agreed with Commissioner Vito. We hire him and he runs the city. That's the way the manager council form of government works.
As long as everybody's gonna remember that,
Right.
then I think we're all good.
But then I looked in
Let the record reflect that.
We always remember it.
But then I looked in the charter, and the charter happens to say, under 3.04, the powers and duties of the city manager, C, recommend to the city commission the appointment and necessary for the good of the city, the removal of officers and employees of the city, except as otherwise provided in this charter and blah, blah, blah. So that to me means anybody, that he chooses and he recommends for us to hire. But I mean, so it's very odd, but I think he's brought this before us. I'm completely okay with hiring her. I just need to get a motion from somebody so that we can let him go through with the hiring process.
I only have one question. So when can you start?
I currently work in St. Johns County, so I can
That's
take
what-
them 2 weeks.
Okay.
April 1st is the anticipated start date.
Now, that's.
April Fool's Day.
I know.
March 27th.
And I do have a question. So it's my understanding you're gonna be our assistant city manager / CRA manager, right? Our community redevelopment agency, that's not an entity that you've worked for before, correct?
Correct.
But you've done similar things.
Correct.
One of our central CRA is in the heart of our historic district. And we have many needs in the area of historic preservation. Are you willing and comfortable to learn about historic preservation?
Oh, absolutely.
And what can be done to help property owners?
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's a need.
Yes,
Okay, you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Great.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Great, something new.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right,
Super. Commissioners, if someone can make a motion for me.
sure. I move that we, give a vote of confidence for the city manager's hiring of Ms. Bonnie Loveday for the assistant city manager, CRA director position, subject to the background check and any other requirements.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner DeVito, second by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
You're-
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. We like to put people out there and grill them for a while, so it's just,
Actually, you were pretty polite,
Right.
gentle this time.
at least you're not city manager, you can really run into the room.
Wait till the next meeting.
Ready for the next item? sir?
Moving on, yes.
Okay, so the next, you have an annex briefing. The downtown partnership is nearing the end of its current lease and is considering relocating to the city annex to reduce cost. Something that we have talked about in our meetings with that board. They requested that I talk to the commission as the city prepares to move from the annex within the next couple of weeks, which I have talked to Steve and his crew. We are gearing up to get everything moved over. We have some internet issues over here that we're working through in the back that are gonna be a little bit of the holdup. But I wanted the commission to determine whether the space can be offered to the partnership and under what terms, especially since the partnership currently assumes that it would be free. This discussion will help clarify the options, support redevelopment, collaboration, and inform future planning for potential uses such as a community welcome center. It's not my recommendation that the lease is a zero option, $0 lease. I think that they are chartered to raise funds for their rental. I believe that the city could come up with a good, fair, very cost efficient rental lease to them that would save them currently, compared to what they're paying. So that is my briefing on that.
Okay. Do we have,
I have a question,
sure,
or do we need a motion for your
I'm-
question?
I will entertain anything. This is mostly for discussion, and if we want to make a motion, I think we can discuss it without a motion.
Okay, so my question is, I would assume that the lease agreement would be something that would come back to the commission.
Yes, I would.
That is correct.
Yes.
So it's my assumption that what you want us to do here today, I don't know about Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Burton, you want us to authorize you to look into it
Yes, that is correct. And really, I believe that entity wanted a fuzzy, good, warm feeling that the commission would allow them the opportunity to discuss possible rental of that space. That's just an option. Their lease is coming up, so, that is it. And I would bring back any and all options to the commission for approval prior to any finalization of a contract.
And that would have to be April,
Yes,
because they're going to.
they're set for May, correct.
Okay.
I mean, my personal feelings is that, obviously, I've always been pushing for the idea of having all the employees under one roof. So having finance in this building, I think is very important and absolutely necessary. And so having that building just sitting there empty, I don't think helps anybody. If there's a community group or community groups that need space, then let's talk to them. The idea of a welcome center or something like that, and if they were willing to work with us and sponsor that or help run it, I think we need something like that. There's nowhere in town that you can allow people to come to City Hall
Right.
when they have questions and they want a map or something like that. But that's not always the case.
Right.
So, I don't know, Commissioner, how you feel, but I think that it's something that, to me, seems like a good idea.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I move that we authorize our city manager, to investigate the possibility of downtown partnership leasing the annex building and bring back to us any, potential agreement.
is there a second?
Bring back any agreement,
But we would have
Well,
to
if there's
approve
a
anything.
lease, you would have to bring it
We
to
still have
us.
to bring it back
to
to
us.
us. But I
So
think
just authorizing him to, pursue the possibility that they might lease it.
meaning that we would still have to approve anything that,
or
But he can-
something that.
okay? So I have a motion by Commissioner DeVito and a second by Commissioner Burton. Any further discussion?
Well, I think it'd be a good thing to give them a leg up a little bit, but I think free is, just my opinion, I don't think free is the correct answer. I think right now, I'm not sure how much you're paying, but you're paying pretty good money.
Well, if you see,
But I don't think we can give them that option, I think that they're supposed to be on their own, you know what I mean? They have to, somehow, the city is not really supposed to be as involved. That's why they moved out, okay, of the annex. So I don't understand all the workings of it, and so those would be some of my questions coming up.
Could I get one question answered that Commissioner Burton brought up a very good point? It was my understanding that, is it that the city is supposed to support them with a minimum half-time position? Is that our requirement that we have to do that, or are they just required to have a part-time position? Does anyone know?
These are all questions I have too.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been answered very well.
Right, well, was my understanding we were supposed to provide them with some level of financial support. I personally did not think it was a great financial move for them to leave the annex when they did, because rent is money. But anyway, I guess we'll have to get that question answered.
But I think that's why they left. I think there was some type of rule.
and
No,
I think it was,
I don't.
let me interject. I think it was a perception perhaps that people
Yes.
thought that they were part of
I
the
don't know.
And also another thing about them being, they used the annex before as storage room, basically, they didn't have a storefront. And that was part of the reason they moved to Central Avenue, was to have an actual storefront, and you could come and go out of the front door and that thing, they have events and stuff there. It's just my personal feeling from hearing about it.
Well, I need
That's a lot of money.
a couple of those things
If
answered.
you all could please email me your questions, I will investigate it and get the correct answer for you.
But
Mr. Vice Mayor, could I just say one thing while I'm thinking about it? It's about the annex, it's not specifically about downtown partnership, but it has to do with people. That is clearly a government building when you look at it. And could we put a sign on there that says tax collector's office is down the street?
because not for the first time, I've run into somebody knocking on that front door. And there was a gentleman with 3 little kids, they looked hot, they looked tired.
We can get a vinyl sign and put it on the front door very easily. I'll take care of that.
The police department moved out, but,
Well, what's that, you don't want them to collect taxes, or, you know, something?
Well, it was, it looks like a government building, it just wasn't the right one.
We'll take care of that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Sure, it wasn't that, but anyway, so,
so we have there's a motion on the table. If we have any further conversation, discussion, then let's go ahead. Can you do a roll call vote for me, panel?
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
aye.
Commissioner Lauren,
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Yes. The next are the city attorney review policies. These have been in front of you all a couple of times. The revisions, I'm seeking commission approval for 2 of the city attorney review revised policies, the updated harassment policy and the updated grievance resolution procedure. The revisions incorporate prior commission direction, ensure legal compliance, clarify responsibilities and processes, and update procedures for grievances involving elected or appointed officials. You all have the briefing and the updated document in your packet.
And there was, you got the scrivener's errors that I sent you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because they were just.
We did not update the rest, but those will be taken care of before they're inserted if they're approved.
So I will entertain a motion regarding the harassment and grievance policy.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
And this is a question I had for the minutes. We've looked at this several times, so forgive me because some of those times run into each other. I have a recollection that our last meeting where we had to do the emergency burn ordinance, that we also deferred the harassment and grievance policy till the end of the meeting because the mayor had questions.
Right.
And I don't remember,
It was on the consent agenda, and she requested it to be pulled and discuss it, and we moved it to the end, and we never got to it.
that's what I
So
thought.
that's- You are right.
So that wasn't reflected in the minutes, but my concern is that the mayor said she had concerns, she had things she wanted to ask.
Yeah, she brought them up, and those concerns were addressed in this rendition, which took out the vice mayor being able to call a special meeting, and it also added our city attorney as one of the points of contact in different instances in lieu of just the city manager.
Okay,
So,
Right.
then, well, hang on a second, because, there's just a document here, it doesn't show us where the changes are. I mean, you've described them, it doesn't show us what the changes are, or when they were corrected, or when they were changed. I'm not really comfortable voting on something that's been changed outside of the city meeting, and we didn't see ahead of time where those changes are in the document. I mean, I just don't do that.
The changes are in red.
Yeah,
They're not in my copy.
it's right behind.
They should be.
That's not my copy, I looked.
There's one document that does not have any changes because that document wasn't brought up with any issues since the last meeting. That just had a simple line item for harassment that included elected and or appointed officials. That was the only language. The main language was in the grievance policy. Those we went through, and the only changes that were requested by the commission and the mayor at the time was just to take off the vice mayor being able to hold a special election and adding our city attorney as the contact for a grievance against the mayor or grievance against myself or another commissioner.
And that's what's in red.
And that's what's in red.
Okay, my copy, no red. There's no red.
It is,
Um,
yeah, on page 8.
okay, because I have a printed copy, I don't, that's when I read online, so mine doesn't have that, so that's a glitch. I understand what you're saying,
I apologize, Commissioner.
no, but just, and I think you made, so took out the vice mayor being able to call a special meeting.
Yes,
You said election.
What it
It's a
said,
special meeting.
Special meeting.
what it said, the last draft we had, is that if there was complaint against the mayor,
Right,
then the HR would contact the vice mayor to call a special meeting,
right.
for the commission to discuss it. But according to our charter, I can't call a special meeting. It would take
Right,
three
right.
commissioners.
Got it.
So, but the city manager can call a special meeting. And so the city manager, that's what they changed.
I, by charter, I can actually, I don't have that authority, I have to go to the mayor.
Okay.
I'm just for the record.
To me, all right, well, anybody can do whatever they want to do.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the updated policy prohibiting harassment and the updated grievance resolution procedure, incorporating commission directed revisions and ensuring both policies meet current legal and organizational standards.
Okay, that's motion by Commissioner Burton. Do I have a second?
I'm second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. That was a second by Commissioner Moore. Is there any further discussion?
Just, I'm not really comfortable with the piecemeal way the changes were made. I'm not saying anyone did anything wrong, I just don't think it's a good way to do it. But I understand we've worked on this for quite a while.
This is our third or fourth time discussing this.
Yes.
And every time we've gotten the updated changes, so, if there's no other discussion, Pam, can you do a roll call vote for, please?
Commissioner DeVito,
I,
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Lloyd,
Aye. Thank you, the motion passes. Next, we have entrance signs.
Yes, thank you very much. So the briefing that you all had presents affordable welcome to Crescent City entryway sign options for the city's 3 main gateways and seeks the commission's direction on whether to move forward with the proposed aluminum ACM signs. The recommendation offers a quick, cost-effective improvement while preserving most of the budget for future long-term signage planning, where we can address at a later date. Commissioner Lori also sent an alternative color option based on the artwork that was previously approved by the commission. Any alternative will work. The colors are up to you. I also provided you all copies of those alternatives, and I believe the push, of course, is to make sure that we get signs in place because we don't have proper welcome to Crescent City, and thank you for visiting Crescent City sites right now.
Yeah, there's never been one on the freeway, as long as I can remember. And the one on North 17 has been gone for a while. The one on South 17 is there, but.
And as you can see in my briefing sheet, this is costing somewhere around $1,600 for all 3. We have more than that in the budget. We can roll that over and have workshops and figure out what we're gonna do for a long-term plan later. But right now, it would be nice to get some signs in.
And this option is fast and easy.
Yes.
Because we've talked about this for,
Too long.
since I was elected, and I'm about to be, have a re-election, so that's been a while.
okay.
Hopefully that'll be re-election. Good. Commissioner DeVito, do you have a comment?
Yes, and I'm sorry that the mayor can't be here because she's the one that got this going. Signs are a matter of aesthetics, and I see that there's an alternative here. And by the way, Mr. City Manager, did you get the sets of photos that I sent you?
Yes, ma'am.
And sent them to the commissioners?
Okay.
Okay.
I did not send them yet. It was way before the meeting, and I apologize. We had a couple things going on.
Our code officer has them. Are you able to send them?
I can.
Okay, because it would just help inform what I'm about to say. Okay. I'm just saying, I prefer the dark blue ones, and I prefer, my only concern with the signs is really their shape. Because I've looked at this twice now, we discussed signs, Commissioner Moore, it was before your election, I believe. We discussed monument signs that were much more expensive and a different material. the current signs that we have are really pieces of art. They're 3D wooden carvings, and I think the one that was on the north end is different than the one on the south end. Some of the pictures I sent the city manager today were close-ups of the ones on the south end. They're actually carved wood and painted, they're beautiful. The style of the current signs are very similar to the Lacas and some of the other monument signs around town. They're white wood with paint and finials, and they're more like the signs that we have before us say, "Welcome to historic Crescent City." My only concern with this kind of geometric shape here is that it has no relationship to our historic architecture. The white painted signs that we have are more like the 70% of our historic buildings that are called frame vernacular. You know, the woman's club sign, the sign in front of the funeral home, they're just very pretty, very turn of the century. Alternatively, one of the pictures that I sent was some pictures of signs that are in Fernandina Beach, right in their historic district. The mayor had suggested black posts on borders, and to me, that also, if you do it right, relates to the historic structures that we have, because that black metal, if you do it right and you put a little decoration around it, relates to, is more like the turn of the century Edwardian. It's still period. It conveys a sense of history. And I sent some pictures of that. So the only thing I would suggest is that we go with a rectangular or square or oval sign. Those are a style that more relates to a historic Crescent City, as opposed to these more modernistic swoopy ones. That would be my suggestion, and if we, pardon?
Mustard colored swoopy ones.
And you know, one option we have is to maybe get some more eyes on this. I personally prefer the dark blue, but we want to make sure they are visible. And I don't feel qualified to say that, but welcome. Anyway, I would suggest a rectangular sign or an oval sign, and then we could dress it up later.
Yeah, because this is just an interim move.
Right.
That's what I'm.
Right, but it would be nice. It would be nice to be able to dress it up a little bit and not have to throw away what we did.
Well, and that's something too, this color, or the bottom sign there, I mean, we could always just put that up on post, but we can build something around it and make it a little more substantial. I think, in the long term, I would like something that's a little bit sturdier, and looks stable, and looks more substantial, but I think the point right now is we really need to get a sign that says, welcome to Crescent City. I think people might drive through town and not realize they were here.
Okay.
And, I mean,
Anyway,
And like to fill the meter in, what we're discussing on the
I was
signs.
listening, I was listening on the
Okay,
way
and
in.
the blue ones in front of you, the ones that Commissioner Louis provided.
I just,
Okay, that's the one,
yeah, I took those out of the.
the other one that we had, yeah. And he can, I apologize for my tardiness.
Okay, we don't know, we don't talk. I said they had to put up with me, and I'm not nearly as good.
Been a day.
We're glad to see you.
But he can do this the same, he can take this also, they can take this.
Yeah.
I think the crux of it is just, we had somebody even walk in the office the other day from out of town, and he said, what is with Crescent City, y'all don't even have a sign.
Right.
Yeah. So
so should I make a motion? I don't know.
If the mayor would like to entertain a motion, I'm no longer the mayor. There you go, have your.
Well, I have a request. Well, maybe we could have a 5-minute break while the mayor gets settled.
I'm good, go ahead.
You're good. Okay.
You're rolling along here.
So I'll be asking for a 5-minute break. I would like to move that we for aesthetic and for compatibility with, the historic structures in town, that we, use the rectangular sign, of the two submitted by Commissioner Roy with blue background.
I'll second it. We already know you want it.
And I can second it now. And I'll just add that I just,
It's okay,
I
it's
just
okay.
played with this for a few minutes last night, this doesn't have to be the final. But I did use the resources that, Arnett Murrow did. So the graphic and then I matched the colors, those are the colors and then matched, that you're welcome to on there, in the font that we have, so.
And they have that up there
Yeah.
at Dave, she has all that, so we can send it to them. I think the biggest thing is, you know, you do the welcome and then I would like to see, and it's not on here, that thank you for, yeah, on the back side. So it's a two-sided
We can
sign.
easily do that.
Then we match the colors in the font. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a proper motion and a second. Do we want to do, did you want to add, an amount to that? I mean, I know we've got that quoted, but we also have to have poles and for the installation, which shouldn't be that much. I believe we can do that in-house.
Yes,
But I just, from an expenditure amount,
you have the quote from Dave's Tops, the poles wouldn't be more than a couple $100 for each one.
but should this go over just based on the different colors? That would be my concern, is if we want to put like a
Not to exceed.
cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, not to exceed $5,000 for the signs and the poles.
Yes.
Okay, and it's my, well, just, I was discussing before you came in, I sent some pictures of what they have in Burlington Beach. I think you had, said, you suggested black borders and poles there. I think that's appropriate, either we want something consistent with frame vernacular or something with turn of the century. And, I sent to the city manager some photos from Bernardino Beach of their poles and borders.
Yeah.
I forwarded it to
That
everybody.
if we can't do it right away, maybe we could, get a better pole and border later. But anyway, so for current, so that it's the rectangular, sign, the bottom one submitted by Commissioner Lori, and the bid from Dave's Tops and Trims, and the total cost not to exceed $5,000.
Okay. And Commissioner Burton,
I'll go ahead
you're
and
good with
second.
your second, okay? Do we have any further discussion?
Then we thank you I thank you for all the work you did to
Thank you.
get that done.
It really wasn't that much, Dave did it. I
Well-
just, you know, Dave did it. Do we have any public comment? I'll open it up for public comment. Please come forward, state your name and your address if you, will.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dan Dodge. I'm the president of the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society, and I'm at 218 South Main Street, Crescent City. My request is that the old signs, that they not be thrown away, that you consider giving them to the Historical Society if you have no use for them.
We have that.
Yes, there's one still up and then we have one over in the annex, it's over in the annex. Oh, is that right? Yes.
I'm very interested in making a motion to that effect. My concern is, I think it might be better if the city stored them for the historical society until they have a secure place and until they feel ready to take, or we, I'm a member of the board, to take possession of them, if that's possible, but
Okay, let's,
But we haven't
well,
voted on the
we
first
haven't
one.
voted on the first one, so we're gonna do that
but
afterwards, but we'll have a motion there, so thank you for, are you in
Thank you,
agreement?
Mayor.
Are you in agreement so that you don't have to come back up, that the city store those until such time you have a place for them?
If it's best for the city to store them, fine. If it's best for the historical societies to store them, either way. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Do we have any other public comment at this time? Okay, Seeing nobody come forward, Pam, if you would please, take the
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
aye.
Commissioner Burton.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, we're gonna move on to the electric signs monument. You wanna, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna do yours. Go ahead.
That's okay, to follow up on, Mr. Dodge's suggestion, I would like to move that the original signs, the wooden signs be preserved, that the city store them, and that we store them, I guess, that we ultimately give them to the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society, when they let us know that they have a good place to put them or a secure place to store them.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Commissioner, if you have any comments? Okay. Mr. Martin, you feel that we can do that?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
we can.
And Mayor,
Yes.
if you have not seen them up close, I sent y'all pictures of the ones that are still out there. They are beautiful.
They are.
They are carved.
There's one over here that we have.
Right,
over
I
here.
saw that, and
This is different from your approach.
Yeah, it
right, they are carved 3D, they're just absolutely beautiful.
And maybe we can get there one day again, but.
Or, they would look good somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a proper motion and a second. Ms. Taylor, if you would go ahead and do a roll call for us, please.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, so approved. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to take those and take care of them. Okay, let's move on to the,
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. In the briefing outline that I gave you, we had proposals received through the city's formal RFP process for a new LED electronic message center at City Hall. Based on a comprehensive evaluation of cost, display, quality, warranties, and long-term value, staff recommends proceeding with the Petro LED 6mm double-sided display. This option provides superior resolution, robust warranty coverage, and cloud-based management capabilities at a cost well below the available $30,000 in the budget. The remaining funds offer flexibility for potential size enhancement and consideration of possibly even a second installation site should the commission wish to explore that option. This evening, I'm asking authorization to move forward with the purchase of the recommended sign in the amount of $13,534.
I move that we, purchase the, I don't know what the brand is. Sorry.
Petro
Petro, yeah, LED for the $13,425 or something.
534.
There we go.
okay,
From-
second.
From the allocated funds in the Beverly's plan.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a proper motion and discussion. Commissioner, do we have, a proper motion and a second, do we have any discussion?
Yes.
I am not on any medication, just for the record. Antibiotics, so in case I'm just a little scrambled, I apologize, but,
You've had a day.
but,
Yeah, my concern is we just, motioned to buy it at $13,534, but at the same time, you said that there's a possibility that we could buy something bigger and possibility of moving it, correct?
We could, that's always up to the commission. Right now, it's anticipated we would put it in place of the sign that is broken here at City Hall. There are,
Yeah, in order to move it, what would we have to do to move that and make it a little bit larger?
so the good thing about this, it would need power. Because of the internet, and Commissioner Lori can speak better about some of the technology more than myself, but because this is cloud-based management and because of the way that this receives and gives data, it can, as long as we have power, the unit comes all together.
It has a cellular phone modem in it. Correct. It's the old one, there's a wire that comes into here and attaches to the computer.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
These new ones, you'll just be able to go on a website, you can actually use his phone anywhere he is, and the technology is so great that you can have pictures on it, and this one would be a lot larger.
Emergency
Resolution would be
messages.
amazing.
Last second emergency messages.
It can be anywhere as long as there's power.
Because I think we should consider moving it, right now you can't really see it where it is, it's tucked in, it's very difficult to see it. And I think that we should look for a second site for it, something that makes a little more sense to see it. It's something just a little bit larger, that's all, I'm not talking about a great big.
But in the meantime, we could put it there and then move it when we have another location.
Absolutely. It's a very simple unit. It's multiple pieces that you actually put together. They give you all of the information. I looked at the videos.
I'm afraid that if you move it there, it'll stay there forever.
Think of it like,
That's how we do things.
think of it like a TV. You can mount a TV on the wall, take it, put it on another wall. It's the same with this technology and it's new technology. It's light. But I understand.
Where do you, yes, Commissioner Moore?
I was concerned about the location also because I had several people to say to me, they can't see it. To you like, you passed it, so where would be a good,
I think we need to discuss where it might be better we place.
We can,
could it live it higher?
we can definitely bring options to the commission on the next meeting.
Okay.
We did anticipate raising it from here. Right now, it sits a little low. The sign is actually gonna be almost, with the price of $13,000, almost double the size that we have right now. The width is a little bit shorter, so we would build brackets inside and lift it up. The cones that are on top of the actual pillars would come off. We would redo those and that sign would be lifted up a little bit. So I think with the old sign, the color, the style, and the size also added to the issue of not being able to see it. This sign is gonna be very high definition. Pictures you can see from 1,000 feet away. It's a very high definition screen.
You might think you can see it 1,000 feet away, but hell, I can't even see it 10 feet away. Most generally, they're all driving by.
Right,
Well,
So that's all talk.
like I just drove by the Pomona Park.
right.
And, you can see that when it's right out in front of the city hall.
Sure.
I mean, you can see it, but it's a much bigger screen than what we have here.
Right.
This, they could only get really one line on that,
Right.
and it has to, I don't know if it's necessarily that we can't see it, you can't read it because you're going too fast.
Right.
Because you have to wait for it to scroll to the next screen.
That could be one, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but you're saying the building is basically in the way when you're driving?
Yeah.
Because of where it's located in between the buildings, and I understand. But then what you're saying, Mayor, I believe is also true. When you go bigger, brighter, better, you're gonna see it. But we can give multiple options and bring it back to the commission. If we order this, it's gonna take at least 15 to 20 days to get it ordered. And we can definitely do that, but it can be moved, to answer your question. If we put it up temporarily until we find another spot, get the electricity, we can do that. And the only other cost would come out of the same line item, which we have 30,000 in that budget. We would have to build a monument for it to sit in, and that's it.
If you've been to Placa recently, the new one right there, you on the bridge, it's much higher, but even then, you can't, when you're going over the bridge, you don't really see it, you have just a very short period of time, but you'll have multiple lines of text on there. Like you said, in Gore Park, you can have 5 lines of text, so you don't have to wait to see it scroll, because you can only put so many letters on the old sign. And just for context, that sign was moved previously when we had City Hall at 115 North Summer Street. So, because we bought that sign in 2003 with Better Place to Spend Money.
Okay.
And so it's been moved, and down here. So, I mean, they're very movable.
And just so the commission knows, if we were to go with a sign that would be around 88 inches wide, not 75, but 88 inches wide, we're currently right now at 90 inches. We went 88 inches wide, that would allow us to go to almost 5 feet tall. And the cost for that would be around $20,000. Just so you know.
Mayor, first of all, I think we're always gonna have a problem that Long Park doesn't have because we have such a narrow right of way and all our buildings and the light poles. I mean, there's obstructions all up and down 17. There's not really, we don't have the situation of Pomona Park. They have like a little park in front of their building and it's on a curve. So it just happens to be at a very visible spot. We're a straight shot and most of the buildings are up close to the curb. My only question about size is, we had a long discussion when we adopted our sign ordinance. I think, whatever it is we do, I think there might be a different size sign that we're allowed to have in the central historic district. Commissioner Roy says no.
The sign ordinance exempts government electronic messaging.
Are we?
We're exempt, we're exempt, yes.
So,
We made sure of that when we were doing it, to make sure that ours, yes.
okay. All right, well, hopefully we'll tasteful. Okay, but anyway, I think that we're going to have always that line of sight problem. And the solution's gonna be the more text. I mean, sometimes if you're walking, you can't even wait long enough to see it scroll.
Because of the cost of this, for the size that they gave us, I mean, maybe we even look at putting 2 at both of our south and north entrance. And having that as when people come in, they're getting messages. The only thing is the people that live in the city aren't getting that quick emergency message, but again, I think that there's a way to do it, and this, I didn't price this size, we want it bigger, so maybe if we did something here for central, we could get even half of that cost for.
But we still know, because we still have an issue with seeing it, because you're not gonna get what you need there.
Right.
So Commissioner Burton, we have a motion right now to approve the purchase of the sign. But now we have another issue as far as placement. Do you want to see us try to raise that sign up and see if that makes a difference?
I don't know if that
See if
would
it
make
makes a difference?
Maybe try it first.
Try that first.
Or just-
I mean, are you
let's see
open
how-
to that?
I'm just telling you, it's gonna end up right where it's at. That's the way I feel.
Did you have a public comment on this?
I'll have to, I'm sorry, we'll give you an opportunity for public comment.
But that, no, so I mean, I'm done. My mind's kind of made up.
Okay.
You can make it big, it's still gonna be there, you know, and you still can't see it because it's between the buildings. That's the way I feel.
Mayor, if I could?
Yes.
I think this would take some investigation. I don't think there's very many places up and down 17 where something is not going to be between some buildings. Even like if you put it in the parking lot, Palmeiras, and the cars that park in front of Palmeiras are
Well,
going
I
to be
mean,
there.
I think you should all go out. I mean, right now, we're just saying, oh, there's nothing there, but I bet you there is something there.
The other thing too, though, is we have to own the property.
Right.
So we have to own the property, and when we sell the fire station on 17, that's, if we sell the fire station property, that's,
I just thought of this, and I don't even know if this is a possibility, I don't know any height restrictions or look at the code, but what if we were to put it on top of the annex building, right at the edge of the annex building? People in the light can see it from there, and people coming in, I mean, it's just higher,
I'm sorry, cheesy,
but on top of the annex building.
very cheesy, that's a little cheesy.
I'm just saying,
Okay,
an idea.
okay, so right now I'm gonna open it up for public comment, but thank you for your suggestions.
But no, I mean, take a vote.
Yeah, I'm gonna open it up for public comment. If anyone has any, please come forward, state your name and your address if you will.
I'm so happy you're gonna call me. My name is Jade Ellen Creevy, and I'm 828 Orange Avenue. And I'm a creative person, so when you get something in front of me that's gonna be a problem, all I have is great solutions. So you say that you have an annex that you wanna put to be an information place. You wanna give the downtown partnership maybe that building. But we could actually put a park on the other side of that building. It would take a little bit of taking apart a little bit of that parking lot, but we could put a sign in there. If you're looking at a park in Pomona Park, a sign in Pomona Park, in a park, we can make that annex that way too. I mean, it just takes a little bit of, maybe a little demolition, a couple jackhammers, a couple park benches, some planting over there, and maybe we'll make it into a beautiful area that we can maybe be, instead of between the building, there can be something. So it's just a thought. So I just thought I'd share that with you. And think about it, do a workshop on it. And I agree, put it on top of the building. Okay,
Thank you, thank you. Anybody else? We have any other speakers?
Mayor?
Sorry.
Elizabeth Gomez, 19 Cedar Street. I might be clueless, but what about across the street on the Miller lot where we put all our signs? There's no electricity there?
There's no electricity currently, but I mean, that could be installed.
That could be installed.
And
Good suggestion too.
yeah, because sometimes you have, the skylights that receive the sun and maybe that can power it. But I think that would be a great place. And eventually if we sell that, we can make like a little area around the sign where it's trees and a walkway. But everybody has to stop at that light and there's no obstruction coming from the south. And I think it will be a great spot to start something there. Thank you.
Hi, Pat Langen, Southwest Street. You're talking about the sign right out here in the garden.
Yeah, the electric one.
That's all.
The only time that I could ever read it is when I got off the road, turned around, came back. You cannot see it. It is a dangerous thing. Nobody goes 35 miles an hour. You sit right here at this meeting and you see them flying by. They're not interested. It's not the place to have that sign. What I miss most in Crescent City is that lovely clock and the weather. Temperature is 98 and it's 6 o'clock. That's what I think we need, a pretty clock, probably on the corner of the, somewhere here. Because you are beautifying the place, I don't think that song's gonna help you. And $20,000 doesn't sound like much if you don't just started.
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers? If not, I'm gonna close public comment. So we have a motion to purchase this sign. Commissioner DeVito.
So I have a question. It seems like there's two issues here. There's which sign to buy and then where to put a sign, where it will be useful. So if we buy it, is the plan to put it right where it is? Or are we going to decide where to put it at a later time? Because the motion, I think, is just to purchase the sign.
That's all the motion is for.
Right, I just don't want
Well, we
to,
kind of added in.
And then we
that
had
motion
discussion.
Where,
Right.
you know, where that it would stay the same kind of place. I mean, it was just kind of, the way it was presented, I thought, kind of said that we could have some options.
I didn't make a motion, you did, and that's all, right, and I know.
My intention was to purchase it, put it here, and for now, and let's try it and see how hard it is to read, and then move on from there. All I know is we need a sign, and I don't care where it is, but right now, it looks bad having a sign out there that doesn't even work. It kind of looks a little changed.
So do you want to amend your motion for placement?
Sure. I will say to replace the sign with the current location.
Okay, and I think I seconded, correct? Okay, so I'll second that, I'll second the amendment.
So we have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? Commissioner Burton?
No.
Ms. Taylor, if you do a roll call for us, please.
Commissioner Burton?
No.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Lori?
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito?
Aye.
Mayor Myers?
Aye. Okay, so approved. Thank you.
And then could we take a 5-minute break?
If everyone's in agreement, take a 5-minute break, 7 if you need it.
Maybe at 9 o'clock.
So,
Meeting is back in session. Now we can go ahead, we only have a few more things in business, why don't we go ahead and finish up business? So we've got, you want
Thank you,
to,
Mayor, yes, appreciate that. The next is our property sale briefing. You all had a briefing requesting authorization to begin formal surplus process for a city-owned parcel at 126 North Main Street. The adjacent business owner has expressed interest in purchasing all or part of the property. And staff seeks approval to engage a real estate professional and coordinate with planning and zoning to evaluate feasible sale and parcel configuration options.
Commission.
And so, words you're talking about, Paula, apartment house, wants to
Yes.
buy a piece of property behind that.
Yes.
He wants to buy it directly, not the entire parking lot, but just directly behind his business.
Correct.
Now, he owns, when we say directly, it's not just the package store. He owns down to the end of the bar, which is where, so is that the property you're talking about, all of that property?
It's if you went to the very north end of our property, it matched his top property line from the matching property line. It's that first property, that first rectangle that he wants. The trees are encompassed. It doesn't go far south in front of our government building, but it does go down where his bar is.
So there would still be, we would still have a
We would still have a very large piece of property, most of the parking lot, about 70% of the existing parking lot back there.
Is the sheriff's department parks back there as well, so.
Yes.
For voting.
For voting.
It's more green space where he wants to expand the building for storage and also expand for his services he provides now.
So you're not asking tonight for permission to sell the property, you're asking us for the permission for you to engage in the preparation.
Yes, it has to be properly surplus, we have to get with the real estate agent, there's a lot of steps in place, and have to work with Mark, planning and zoning to see if we can even split out our property. All of that has to be answered, and I'm asking permission to move forward in the next step to do so.
Okay, now we don't,
We don't know what he's gonna use it for.
I think he uses a storage area behind his area, yeah, he's like locked.
Yeah,
He is,
Cause he's right on the line, his property is right on the line.
yes.
Where the building is.
I have a question for Dawn.
Yep.
We don't have a realtor that we work with, would we have to put out an RFP for that?
Are you looking for a
I don't know, we put
realtor
out
or are you
an
looking
RFP
for somebody to
because
give you an
we,
estimate of value? What do you, when you say real estate professional, what are you looking for?
We would need the value, and as well, if we move forward with the surplus, I wanna have the realtor in place ready if the commission decides, and that's something we can move forward with, to move forward with proper surplus to sell the property.
I thought you already had a buyer.
Oh, we do, but I believe you had told me that it has to be properly surplus, that it has to be open
it has to be an open,
to others.
Well, it has to be surplus, but as far as definitely you have to declare it surplus property, but in terms of selling it, I mean, can retain a realtor, but you don't have to retain a realtor.
Okay, fair enough.
We can certainly prepare deeds and closing statements and, deal with title insurance. It just has to be made available to, it's not permissible to single out a person and sell public property to. But if you, advertise it for 30 days and, in some fashion, make it known that that property is going to be sold by the city, solicit sealed bids, you can solicit bids with a minimum price, anything, no bid below this amount will be even considered, but above this amount, submit sealed bids, any of that you wanna do. You can retain a realtor, but you're gonna pay a commission up from 3 to 6%.
just like over here when we have our sign where to contact City Hall, if you're interested in this property, we could do the same thing
Sure.
with that property.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so it's up to you, I'm not saying you can't, but if you do a realtor, like you said, you're gonna have to probably do an RFQ, because that is professional services, and then select a realtor.
Commissioner Vito.
Mayor, the last I heard, you and myself, and I don't remember who else on this commission, had serious concerns about giving up parking back there. Did that change somehow?
I don't think I had serious concerns about giving up parking. He's gonna leave some of that, I think he's going to leave probably the majority of that for parking. He's
Okay.
not going to build that property out, so it would still be available to us for parking.
I don't understand if he's going to extend his building towards the back.
Because he has no storage.
He has no storage.
Okay, but if he extends it to the back, then he's taking up parking spaces and also possibly the driveway.
If it's 5 feet.
I don't really understand how, I mean, I don't have a very good understanding, there's no diagram in my packet of how many, square feet or whatever we're talking about, what that would do, the configuration. Because, also, the city owns the Newman Lodge building next door. That building really has no parking. We have the sheriff's there, and on voting days, the parking lot is full. And Pablo has complained that there's not enough parking out front. So I would like to see how much property we're talking about
I
here.
don't know. He's going to figure that out. I just didn't get authorization
Correct.
to figure something out and come back to us.
And I'll bring mapping. I'm looking at the map right now, Putnam County GIS. The majority of the parking lot, I would say, more than 50%, or 80% actually, is still available to us because what he's looking for is more of a grassy area. Up there, you have the drives that come in, and those are really the only hard surface areas outside of the drive. It's a big island and there's a couple of trees. He's not wanting to move in or do anything with that area. He's really wanting to expand his building out and provide a couple spaces of parking in the back.
Because currently the property line is at the building line, right?
The property,
building is at the property
it's
line.
at the property line, or the building is the property line, and that's where it's gonna extend straight out.
Okay, so what's the part about the grassy area and the trees? He does want that?
You were asking about that, you were concerned about parking. We would retain the majority of the parking.
Okay, but what about the grassy area and the trees?
It would, and right now, in the conversations that I had, that would be untouched. And any work that would need to be done would have to go in front of planning and zoning and this commission in order to get permitted.
Okay, but it seems to me, Mayor and Commissioners, that if we're going to contemplate calling this surplus property, is not surplus because someone needs it, it's surplus because we don't need it.
We don't use
Well,
it.
okay, we can say we don't need it, but, and I guess this is my question for Mr. Holmes, should we do some kind of assessment as to our need to use that property?
That's a personal opinion on my part, but my part is, my position is, I think you should be very careful about selling any property that you have in the downtown area. Because you won't get it back, not for any sort of price close to what you can get for it now.
Right.
And if you look around in Florida, in South Putnam, properties, bringing high numbers, not all property, I get that, but, if it's in your downtown area where you're gonna require parking at some point in the future, I think you should make an assessment. It's not for me to decide, but I think y'all should decide whether or not you are really declaring it surplus. What is surplus?
But that, I guess that's my question.
Yeah, it's property that you think you're not gonna need, never gonna need, and you're gonna make it available, get rid of it. I mean, it's here, it's not bringing any tax dollars, you don't foresee a need for it in the future, get rid of it. Easy if it's a 100-foot lot in Pomona Park for you, if you're Crescent City, but if it's in your downtown area, is it something you're never gonna need? Parking is something that, from my perspective, becomes a need for any business area. And even if you made it into a public parking lot, if you owned it, you could make it a parking lot that he could theoretically lease some space in if you wanted it. But you still own it, and your lease would not necessarily be permanent in nature. You could reserve the right to I'm sorry,
Keep
keep the land, and then depending upon how things, you never know how long, and I don't even know the gentleman you're talking about, so I have no personal interest in it in any way, shape, or form. But he's got a business there now, will he always have? Will he always need that parking area? Will somebody else in the future need that or more? Will you? I know just looking at the city of Palaca's situation with regard to parking, it's hard to get back. So I'm just trying to say, but again, you are much closer to this property than am I in terms of your familiarity with it and your knowledge of where you think your growth is going to be. But in the answer to your question, and I guess I've been very long-winded, but yes, I think you should definitely make an assessment of is it really something you want to get rid of? I mean, yeah, I understand you can generate some short-term money, but, and then if this gentleman has a real need for parking that he's seeing is going to interfere with his business development, fine, you can still enter into some private public partnership, so he pays for some cost of development of it and to pay parking, and in return he gets, a guaranteed amount of lease. You don't have any taxpayers' dollars in developing it, but he didn't get it forever. Just some ideas.
I think the majority, the real reason he wants this is because he wants to expand his building. The building has storage in it.
Is that right?
Moving to expand because the building is where the property line is. So if
It's
you,
right on property.
and if we empower Derek to go talk to them and work out, maybe he just wants like 20-foot slice of it. We still have parking, we still have all the rest of the land, but then a business that's been in this community for 40+ years can expand and have more.
And I'm certainly not against that.
I mean, to me, it just seems like we're not using it, and if business can use it, then we can help one of our business owners. I'm not saying give it all up, but let's at least work something out.
Sure.
Because I just think it's silly to hold on to a piece of property that will.
And that's where the parcel configuration comes in, because if there's a setback need, that's where our conversations with Mark Correct will let us know, hey, this is where you can go, and then we can find out how to split that out that makes the best sense for the city and for Pablo, and that's really what I want to do.
Or even with like Don said, I mean, I was with a branding company this Monday, and that's what the one thing they said is parking, no matter what community you go into, is always an issue.
There's always a shortage.
You never have enough parking, but with Pablo, just like with what Don said, maybe you reach out and talk to Pablo and see is he wanting to put some sort of a storage facility there, that we could work out an arrangement with him to where we still retain ownership.
Okay.
Or a portion, like you said, he only needs a portion of it.
Yeah, he only needs that back half,
10 or 20 feet,
Yeah,
something to that effect. Yeah. So
But ultimately, we're trying to be a good neighbor because the county, we own that building, and everybody that goes to the county office, they go in that front door. And they use his parking lot.
Yeah.
For that, and it takes away from his business from being able to park in there. And he's been a very good steward, very good neighbor as far as that's concerned, so.
Yeah, I didn't mean to imply you should turn a deaf ear to a business person who's.
No, I get it, absolutely, you never, if you let it go, you can't get it back.
Mhm.
And so once you let it go, that's it, so commissioners, I guess do we want to give Derek approval to go and talk to Pablo, and see just exactly what he needs. I mean, he has come to us and he has spoken to us about it, and see what he could live with.
Yes.
Yeah, is the commission okay with that? And talk to Correct.
Yes,
Talk to-
absolutely.
And talk to Mark Correct about
Yes.
what the possibilities are based on that
Yes.
property that we own.
Did we have a motion?
No, we don't have a motion.
Okay.
The last time we discussed this, the concerns I heard raised and that I shared was that we want to maintain the value of county offices there because so many people come here to use the county offices, both here and in Volusia. So I just think, we need to think long and hard before we start deciding that something is surplus, because we have two very viable entities there. And one of them we own that viable entity. That was our prior discussion. So I'm very concerned about this. I understand Pablo does great business, but.
That's a lot of this community too.
Yeah, well, I know that, but, just, you have to put everything in and you can't look at it just from one direction. So,
Well, I think that's what we're not doing. I think if we were just to open it up and surplus it, we would be looking at it from one direction. But if we ask him to go in and talk to Pablo and see, how we could all work together. And I think that's basically what I'm saying, is how can we all work together? He's been a good neighbor, we also wanna be a good neighbor.
Right.
And because he could close off that whole front parking lot and the whole county office would have to park in the back and walk
The
around.
wraparound.
So,
They can do that.
Well,
for people
so
to
the
want.
motion and
Yeah, I'd like a motion, please.
I move that we empower the city manager to approach Pablo, I cannot say his last name, I apologize. The business owner and, talk to them and see what's going on and see if we can come to a conclusion to be good neighbors and bring it back to us.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a proper motion and a second. Commissioners, do we have any further discussion? Do we have any public comments on this? Seeing no one come forward, Ms. Taylor, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
nay,
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so approved. Workshop discussion, so we've got several workshops that we need to get done. I did ask, Derek to bring this up. We've talked about this in the past. We brought it up, we workshopped it, and that was the minimum maintenance standards. That was both for interior and exterior. We've got a lot of, pushback on that. As far as the interior, even though we assured everyone that without proper legal instruments, we could never enter into someone's property. So I'm wondering at this time if the commission, I really think when you drive around that maybe we should revisit exterior minimum maintenance standards.
And I think that INT and Crescent is not international.
Yes, it is
Yeah,
international, and those are the ones that we worked off of.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that we worked off of before.
Yes.
And this would of course pertain to the, exterior. So I'd like to see, that was my request. We also know that we have to have a security, that will be a special meeting, that should not probably be
It
a
will be a
workshop.
Correct, there's a financial aspect to that.
That'll be a special meeting, and with the security, that's also going to be, Dawn said that should be, I guess we would call that, I don't know, if we call it a shade meeting for the security, for setting up our security policy.
It's an executive meeting,
Executive meeting, yes.
It's exempt from specifically exempt from sunshine requirements.
For the security.
If you're just, and I think I've sent an email about how you have to go about that.
And then, of course, we've got e-bikes, golf carts, and electric scooters. We have a lot of e-bikes running around town now, and these electric scooters. So I guess we just compile that as one big policy as far as, so, does everybody, yes, Commissioner DeVito?
so, we had a request from the executive director of the downtown partnership to have some kind of workshop with them, which I think actually we should have a discussion among ourselves to figure out where we want to go. So I just wanted to bring up that we had that request, and I think we said we would meet that request, or grant that request, but also, when we're discussing minimum maintenance standards, I have brought up my concern, and I would like us to put this also on the same workshop, that we have a non-resident property owner registration ordinance. It's a lot easier to do and more simple the minimum maintenance standards. Communities started to enact these when we had the real estate bust back in, what was it, 2008? When you look around, we have both residential and commercial properties that are bank owned or owned by someone from out of town. And those are the ones that come up most frequently with our code issues. So I really would like us to add that to the same workshop as minimum maintenance standards.
So we're doing this.
Yep.
That's fine.
So does everybody have a calendar out?
I couldn't hear what Commissioner.
Does everyone
Moore said.
That's the date.
Oh, okay.
We're in calendars.
So are we talking about two different workshops and a closed meeting?
Yes.
Yes. And that would be a special meeting.
A closed meeting can be a portion of another meeting. I mean, it doesn't have to be separately called, of course.
Does anybody have any dates that they are not available, or that we can go ahead and eliminate? Yeah.
My question is, what timeframe is the city manager thinking of that we should be looking at sooner? Like, I mean,
I know at minimum maintenance standards, even though we already have that and we've gone through it, so he's gonna have to go through and strike through, so that will definitely take us into April probably, sometime towards April. That give you enough time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that one we could do in April.
I will not be available April 6th.
Okay.
Well, only for eighth.
that's,
That's the day before our issue. And April 15th.
is that not an inconvenient day for some people? That's tax day, so the 15th. I'm just saying, I mean, we'll be fine, I just want to be considerate, that's fine with
Everybody
me.
else is, a lot of people aren't real happy on that day, but it's still on.
Or they're, putting the pedal to the metal, I don't know. I guess April 15th would work.
At what time?
What is this for, the April 15th?
We could do, that one, I think we would do you wanna do our security one for that? How's that date work for you, Dawn?
That day right now is good with me. I mean, it's not a good day, but it's good for me.
April 15th?
What time would work for you?
Right now, it's Wednesday. I don't have any regular scheduled meetings on Wednesday, so I'm pretty open. I can work around you.
Okay,
What time?
you wanna try for,
One.
we could do at 1 o'clock. We could start with that at 1.
That's the.
And that would be our special, our executive meeting, that would be an executive meeting. And then, we could do the e-bike golf carts immediately following that.
Right, and Mayor, I think I can find, I don't know if our city manager is gonna wanna do this, but I can find a non-resident property owner registration ordinance.
Okay.
And they're not that complicated.
And then you're on.
I think we could probably consider that.
I think we should put that probably with our minimum maintenance standards, don't you think?
Well, my thought was, minimum maintenance standards are quite complex. Non-resident property owner registration ordinances are usually short. I don't think it would take us that long. Can we give it a try if we don't get to it?
Yeah, the only thing, so we would be workshopping that because
Yes.
because that would not be part of our special meeting because that's an executive meeting and
Yes, that's what I'm suggesting, that we do the
Workshop it.
special meeting,
Okay,
do the e-bikes, golf carts, and then workshop. No, not bring it up for a meeting, just workshop the non-resident property owner registration. I think that might help our code enforcement. And then the only thing I wanted to say is, I believe, that the legislature just sent an e-bike and maybe electric scooter piece of legislation to the governor. I haven't looked at it. I'm wondering, we have to look at that.
yeah, we probably would have to.
Because it might say, it might give us the authority to go further, or, right,
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah. So at least we could have that opportunity to look at it and see what's available for him to sign, and we know where we could go from there. Okay.
So we're doing the spring meeting in one.
Yes,
And then we're doing,
and then we'll follow it, immediately following that, we'll have the workshops.
Okay.
So how long do you think this, security policy meeting would take, do you think?
There's a financial aspect, to it, that shouldn't take too long, and there's about 3 or 4 pages of policy. I would think it would take,
By 3?
we should,
Okay, so by 3 o'clock or immediately following, so we could do it at 3 o'clock or immediately following,
okay.
okay. So we'll do that on the 15th.
And golf carts are not that complicated.
No, we've had that, no, and we've already got some stuff in front of us, so that should be pretty easy to do. Okay, and then the minimum maintenance standards, we can do that, does anybody have any other dates available? I know I'm not available, I believe the 24th through the 29th. I'm not available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could we, what about Wednesday, the 22nd?
I am, is everyone else available? What does Wednesday, the 22nd look like?
That's next week.
Okay.
What time? Wednesday.
Let's do that one at 1 also. We can.
What is this
That way
one on?
Anybody that wants, that's minimum maintenance standards,
You can probably do that one without me.
yes.
And what's the date there?
The 22nd at 1 o'clock.
It's just a workshop.
Yeah, that's just a workshop, and we've already got, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you can look back on previous meetings, we already have that.
Okay.
So we can just pull that forward and just take out the, any of the interior, if that's what the commission pleases. I do wanna mention on the 21st, the night before that, and I don't know, Major Essery, did you talk about the law enforcement memorial? Okay, good, thank you very much, thank you. I'm on that 10/24.
I shows everybody that I'll be capable of. I was just saying.
Thank you. If you have never gone to that, it's very moving. And so please, if you can, that would be a great opportunity. Okay, so we've got that set. Then I guess we're going to go back and, I can recess this and we're gonna take up CRA, correct? Is that correct? Thank you all. Thank you everyone for, doing that. I appreciate that. Again, I apologize for my tardiness. So at this time, I'm gonna recess our current meeting and we're gonna open up our CRA. And let's start with,
Thank you, Mayor, appreciate that. As per the agreement of services between the city, CRA, and Crescent City Downtown Partnership, the partnership is requesting funding for $12,500 for the second quarter of 2026. As you can see in your packet, you have the invoice recap of the activities for the first quarter, a description of their planned activities for the second quarter of 2026, and also in front of you, I printed out, you will have it in front of you, probably not in your packet, but you will have the most recent financials, which was sent in a separate email, so I printed it for this meeting.
and it's,
And that's their statement of activity by month. You have one.
I do not. Do you have one? Thank I got one straight for you. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, commissioners. Do we have, any comments on any of this?
So do we need a motion
No,
before we
I think
discuss
we need
it?
a motion, but not before we discuss it. We don't, do we don't?
Typically, there's nothing on the floor right now unless you schedule this for discussion, so, I mean, a motion is often in order.
So, I would move that we, approve the downtown partnership's request for the quarterly payment, the second quarterly payment. I think the period is April through June, is that right?
Correct.
That's correct. April through June, in the amount of $12,500. According to the, memorandum of understanding that we have with them.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So commissioners, do we have any discussion on this? Go ahead, Commissioner Burton.
Okay, there's been a lot of discussion from constituents, that have talked to me personally about, the downtown partnership and Main Street. And I hate to say this, but a lot of it's been in a negative sense that they don't really feel it's working. You know, I look at, kind of what they have planned, I can turn this around, I just really haven't seen a lot that has come out of the, downtown partnership. I'm not involved with the downtown partnership, so I can't see what all is going on all the time. That's something that I'm really not involved with. And I'm a person that feels that it's really up to the downtown partnership to figure out what the heck's going on and fix it. And what I'm hearing that there's just a lot of friction. So I wouldn't mind if you telling us what's going on, if that's possible. Or if you just don't wanna talk about it. Because we're giving you a lot of money, and I don't see a whole lot coming out of the partnership. I see a few things that come out of the partnership, but it's really not kind of coming out of the partnership. I don't know how to explain that, but, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has anything what I'm saying, but I am hearing a lot of, negative, comments right now.
So
Commissioner Burton,
I
yes, sir?
speak maybe and
Yes.
it'll perhaps help direct
Yes.
the conversation. So I was asked to review the MOU is what it's called. In my opinion, it is a binding document. It has the necessary language. And the reason I'm saying that as a preface is because I hope that your discussion will be aimed at whether or not the downtown partnership is complying with its obligations as they're set forth in Article 4 and Article 5 of your MOU, because those really are your operative requirements. And I could go further if you'd like, but otherwise, I'll just direct your attention to Article 4 and 5, which I believe defines their obligations. And those are the conditions upon which your $12,500 payments are made.
So, Mayor, if I could, to speak to that, it was either at the last request for quarterly payment or the one before that, or maybe both. I have raised the concern, one of the main obligation, as I understand it, and I don't have the MOU in front of me, but I've looked at it before, I asked to have a copy tonight, but I don't see it, is that they pursue the 4-point approach. And what I saw in our packet mainly talked about activities. And so I think we all have answers to the questions that I asked that really went towards, what are you doing on the 4 points? And it seems to me from the answers that we got, that they are working on the other 4 points. Particularly economic vitality, which is very important. Apparently they are doing outreach with the Fruitland Historical Society at the Little Blue House. So they are initiating activities to address the 4 points. I too have heard that there are some frictions. And I myself actually had a very negative experience there that I want to address, I guess, later. But it is not uncommon when you have an organization composed of people to have disagreements. Organizations go through ups and downs, they expand, they contract. My recollection is that, this was a particular project of the mayor and also Commissioner Burton. Y'all were very involved in getting it started. You went to Tallahassee and met with the Secretary of State and, you know, at one point we had a lot of volunteers, but I just think, you know, I think they've hung in there and they've made progress. We have things happening that we did not have happening before. And I would like them to have a more long-range plan. And I as well, I agree with Commissioner Burton. You know, I think we should give the volunteers or the officers a chance to speak. But I see, I asked questions and they answered, and the city manager sent those answers to all of us.
Okay, thank you. And you're right. I knew when I ran for office that the city needed something, and I didn't know what, but we needed something to bring some life back to Crescent City. The Main Street, and a lot of people get very confused with the Main Street. Main Street's a structure. The partnership is a partnership which the Main Street provides that structure to the partnership. It's a significant designation that you have to work hard for, and to get that from the Secretary of State's office to have that recognized. And it's very prestigious across the nation. It puts us it gives us a bump up when we're going for grants. There is a lot of networking with it. It brings a lot. But in the beginning, we were gung-ho, and it was exciting, and there was life brought back to Crescent City. What has been happening just in the last, I want to say since we separated out the city with the partnership, is it's lost its, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, its momentum. It's lost the majority of its volunteers. I've asked them numerous times to go in and do an exit interview with your volunteers. Find out why your volunteers are not there anymore. What happened? We had so many people wanting to be involved that are not involved anymore. We, the commission, have a fiduciary responsibility for these dollars. These dollars that we put into this to the partnership, quite honestly, it takes away from other things within our CRA that it could be used for. And so I think that we need to make sure that however these dollars are spent, that we monitor those dollars to make sure that our residents who pay into those are getting what they deserve for that. At the last meeting, that you came to us and you asked us about the, for this, that we've obligated to give you, there was concern raised that there's not a presence there, especially not a full-time presence. Anymore, I don't even know if there's a part-time presence. And please understand, I'm not going after anybody, I'm not naming names, but oftentimes that door is closed more than it's open. And I know if we had a CRA director here that we were paying $50,000 a year to, we would darn sure expect that person to be in his office and performing. The events have dropped off. And when I sat down and I looked at, right now, you've got, just from what I could see, you're paying out about $2,100 a month just in expenses, including your rent, your utilities, insurance, phone, I guess, Intuit, Constant Contact. You've got events on here that look like they might make, I know the tea, which was wonderful. I know it was a lot of hard work, but everybody really enjoyed it. It made $1,200. But that's really the only event you have for that month. And so eventually, if you're running this like a business and you're looking at your events and you go through each month your events are not meeting your monthly cost. And that doesn't include the payroll. And so, I went and spoke at the last meeting. We've had new leadership. I do believe we need to give the new leadership an opportunity to maybe work on how they can re-energize and bring life back into this, because I do believe that we need this here in our community. It's vital. And we all know it's hard work. But even with a business, when you start a business, it's hard work. In the first 5 years, sometimes that's why most businesses go out in those first 5 years, because it's hard work.
Yes.
So I'm concerned that we are giving, $12,500 every quarter. And I don't see, and that really is going towards salary dollars. And I don't see the return on our investment at this time. And I do believe there has to be some sort of a return on our investment.
So again, not to be the lawyer in the room, but in my reading the document, it's always interesting when I look at a document and there's concern about performance to see what parameters have been established in the document that you can objectively look to in determining whether or not they've been achieved. I'm not familiar with this organization, but when I look at the document, what I see, the closest thing I see to parameters are in Article 5, where it states that they're to implement a comprehensive program based on the 4-point approach that Commissioner DeVito mentioned, recommended by the National Main Street Center, which shall include, and this is the part I want to emphasize, the development of annual written work plan submitted to CRA within 90 days of the effective date of this agreement, which would have been by 1/1/26. Did they do that?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. We did get that.
And then from there, it says, among other things here, it's got some generic language. They establish a strong, broad-based organizational system to include committees for organization. That's not as precise a parameter that you can gauge, but it does then in paragraph 4 state, they shall submit quarterly progress reports along with any other information requested by the CRA, which shall include the progress made toward completion of the work plan goals and accomplishments. And I think those are parameters. You have a work plan, you say. I don't know what all it included, but the question then is, are the reports that are being submitted show that they're making progress towards completion of those goals? There is a section that states they're supposed to raise and expend sufficient funds to support administration of the program and meet program objectives. That again is it's kind of generic. Raise and expend sufficient funds to support administration of the program and meet program objectives. It doesn't specifically state they're supposed to be self-supporting, and I know that you are in fact supplementing the money or giving them money. So it's not my intent to participate necessarily in the discussion, just to indicate that I think that your discussion probably should center around those items. They submitted a plan, you said. Now they submitted a plan. What are the reports showing that they are making progress toward completing the plan?
And and the last one that you spoke about, Dawn, is really where I'm going with this, is because I don't see a business plan. They have a plan. They have submitted a plan. I don't see a plan that is making them self-sufficient. As a matter of fact, they've given us here, and it looks like the net income for right now, it shows $5,800, of which my question would be to them. I know we have $6,500 that I believe was supposed to be for the Bike Fest. and if that's included in this 58 or if that has been extracted out. So Rachel, could you answer that for us? Could you come forward? Because we had talked about in the very beginning that with monies that were made from Bike Fest. Yes.
My name is Richard Kavanaugh. I'm current president of the Crescent City Downtown Partnership. The bank account is one bank account as of right now.
Okay,
We
so
don't have
this amount
multiple
that you
accounts.
have, so that amount that.
That's our amount that we have for.
That includes that 6,500.
Right, correct.
That's
For the grant and the.
I'm sorry, I can't hear Commissioner Lori.
I said that's the statement of activity, that's not a bank balance. That just shows your income and your expenditures for the first 3 months.
For the first 3 months.
Right. In December, we had a donation that covered our expenses for January. In February, we had the tea. And in March, we'll have the Petition Artisan Market. And that will get us our rent for the building department.
Okay.
It's not a long-term solution, it's a short-term one, but we are making rent right now.
You are making your rent right now?
Right now, yes.
Is that based on the activities that you have planned, or is that based on funds that you had already gathered?
Well, the tea brought us in,
$1,200.
and the Vintage Artisan Market is set to bring in approximately $1,200 as well.
Do you have any questions for Rachel?
I guess, and then I have a couple questions for my fellow commissioners and mayor. So Rachel, I just can't call you Ms. Kavanaugh, I know you too well. And thank you for being the president. How do you feel, do you have a plan, or are you going to devise a plan to increase your volunteer recruitment?
We're having a promotions meeting on Monday, and we've tried to reach out to as many people as we can think of to get bodies in the room that are willing to help.
Okay. That's good to know. And are the, how many businesses are participating?
We have economic vitality, what we did last year, we had a few of our merchants in it. Right now, there's not an active economic vitality. Tim would be the chairperson for that.
Okay, because I had heard, for example, that a couple of businesses located at Summit were participating in one way or the other, that they were donating items. And they told me that directly.
I don't know.
You don't have.
I'm not sure what I'm talking about, I'm sorry.
That's okay, and I don't wanna talk out of turn about what people have or have not given, so I'm not gonna name any names, but they were central business district people. At the moment, I don't have any more questions for the president, but I do, if anybody else has questions, I would wait until after that. I have some observations and some questions for my fellow commissioners to have a discussion.
Do you have any questions?
Well, you might receive a packet, okay, per se. And this packet, went on to move through the first part of this year, basically saying everything that you had planned didn't happen. And I'm putting it kind of in a nutshell.
Right.
And then in the foreseeable future, a lot of things that you had planned are not going to happen.
Do you have a specific example, perhaps?
I wish I had brought it with me, and during the whole day today, which was kind of messed up a little bit, I believe I left it in the car that went up to, in the car that went up to, yeah. So, yes, this is what I kind of saw. But, you know, there was the, optimize the dance studio space. It says it really, you know, didn't happen.
We can, bring Tim up, he's been working on getting rentals for that space, and the dance studio, is utilized by dancers still.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a really long list of stuff that doesn't seem to have come to fruition and, you know, I guess I don't understand why. I know that you're short people.
It's a work plan too, it's a fluid document, just because it's not done in January doesn't mean we can't do it in June. It's a guideline, not a set in stone document. So if it says that it's supposed to be done from January to March, it does not mean that I can't do it in June, July, or August. But it will still be accomplished, it just does not necessarily happen in January through March.
Well, January through March is a lot of time and things didn't happen.
I don't know exactly. Like, I can pull it up for you if you like, you know.
No, you know, I'm just saying, you know, that this is the way people are kind of looking at it, okay? And so I'm not gonna stand here and just go through the whole thing. Like I say, I've just gotten some very negative reviews and I just haven't seen much happening, you know, myself, really. So, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't know what else to say. You know, it's a lot of money being
Well,
spent.
I just want to say that you also are dealing with differences of opinions, and you have different personalities, and what one person might see as a failure is not necessarily, you know, we all have different viewpoints. And I obviously am involved because I get to hear about all of this every day. And there's a lot that they're doing. Whether it's a success or not is up for debate, but they're doing things, at least, we've had great events in the last 2 years, 3 years, that we didn't have before. I think, you know, it's an investment that will pay off, but we have to not just yank the rug out of them every 5 seconds when we don't think that they're doing good enough. That's the reason we have an MOU, is so that it just doesn't, shifting winds doesn't cut them out. So I would just say.
Well, I would love a job that I can go to and not get anything done, and get paid for it.
That's a
Let's,
matter of opinion.
yeah.
And I'm talking about the organization. We have an MOU that says, do these things. In my opinion, they're doing them. It's been a whole changeover in leadership. That was a lot to deal with. As you all know, you can't just have everyone disappear the next day, you have to take over. It's been a lot. So I think we're getting a little too micromanaging on something that's not ours to micromanage.
Well,
I'm
and
not
that's,
trying to
and that's why I didn't vote for the contract, because it's our dollars, I mean, it's not our dollars, but it's the city's dollars. And when I say that, I always mean because we have that fiduciary responsibility. And, you know, some of the commissioners felt like we should not micromanage that, and I felt differently. And so here we sit, and Don's telling us basically that as it appears that you're meeting those requirements as set out in that MOU, but we're the ones that have to really, be accountable to the taxpayers.
And I didn't offer an opinion on whether they were or they weren't meeting the requirements. My opinion was simply that if they're meeting the requirements, you're obliged to keep funding. And to the extent Commissioner Laurie's correct, whether they're meeting the requirements if there aren't objective, articulable standards established, then the question of whether they're meeting the standards becomes subjective, right? And that's by definition, that's logic. So if you've got specific objective standards that they have to meet under a plan, then you can look to see whether they're meeting them. But if you don't, if you've got general concepts and fuzzy language, then whether or not they're meeting them becomes an individual opinion, right? That's where it is. So, I don't know whether they're meeting them. I didn't mean to imply, didn't mean to state an opinion.
I understand that.
Commissioner Villa.
So, I had a lot of questions about Main Street when it was first formed, and, I know you talked about the energy that it brought, and that is very, very important. The questions I had were based on my perspective as a longtime community volunteer. I have put on, I don't know how many festivals as part of a committee.
Here in town?
Pardon?
Here, here, Crescent City.
I've participated with Rotary. I've in Tampa with my community where I was president of my civic association. I participated in many community organizations. So my observations when the downtown partnership was created were based on that very, very significant experience. So the city actually created downtown partnership. I believe Charles Rudd helped.
He orchestrated it. He
Right.
orchestrated
He
it.
prepared and
Yes.
signed their papers, and it was, this commission that decided, Mr. Rudd recommended that the board of directors have its current form. I'm not sure the board of directors is the usual kind of board of directors for a Main Street organization, and I think it might help them to look at how the board of directors is structured, because I don't believe that there are too many businesses on it. It was this commission that, upon Mr. Rudd's recommendation, that decided it was time for the Main Street organization to move out of the annex and into that rental space. I did not necessarily agree with, I thought it was a little premature, like that poor eagle that tried to fly the other day and wound up in Miss Loveday's backyard and almost got eaten by her dog. I just thought it was a little too soon for them to spread their wings, that they were encouraged to do so. And the one thing that I particularly think that has not helped them is the emphasis, the recommendation that they have such a heavy listing of events. And y'all weren't happy with me a couple years ago when I said, I meant this in a very helpful spirit, that there's too many events for the number of volunteers that we have in town, and that you are going to burn out your volunteers. But they were encouraged to have that many events, and I don't think it's at all fair to say, well, you plan these things, but you haven't done all of them. I think trial and error is part of all this. There was a big list of events. I looked at that list of events based on the population of Crescent City and the number of organizations and people that we have. I don't think it was even remotely sustainable, and it probably has not helped them move forward organizationally. So I remember the mayor said to me a couple years ago, well, don't offer suggestions, just come and help. Well, the people who are criticizing now, I don't know if they need volunteers, if these people are free to volunteer.
Oh, I'm out there, that would, be careful. Be careful,
Well, you
because I'm
said
out
you
there a
would
lot.
talk to other
I know,
people.
I have,
Okay.
but be careful,
So,
because
When
I'm
you
out
told
there.
me you talked to other people, I'm not talking about you.
Okay,
I know that
that's how
you've
it,
been out
that's
there.
how it was.
However, okay, so Commissioner Lori mentioned maybe we should micromanage. I agree with that. I think we can offer helpful suggestions. If they take them, they do. If they don't, they don't. But it's a work in progress. Every Main Street is different. I think in some ways ours has accomplished more than some other Main Street organizations that they've told me about, they've gone and visited. I have a lot of experience in volunteer management, and I've done a good job at it. I've been very successful at it, and I think that the partnership could use some guidance in volunteer management, and I think we need to let them find the level of activities that they can do that will be the most helpful to our city. And it needs the help of all of us, but for us to get them started and to tell them we're gonna give them this money for the full time, they had our full approval for this. And I don't think we should pull the rug out from under them. I think we need to let them try their best to get established as an organization. And they need to work on volunteer recruitment, volunteer management,
reorganize their board to be more in line of what I understand is recommended by the Main Street organization, that might really help them. But you went through a lot to get this started, and it has created energy. I think maybe all of us need to look at what we can do to support them or possibly get out of their way.
And I'm gonna say that from Charles's perspective, it was really my understanding, Rachel, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the partnership wanted to spread their wings, and that's why they wanted their own location. And
I would say it's more
that
of
we supported
a
that.
separation of church and state. It was that people were confusing us that we were a branch of the city.
Yeah.
And that it was kind of like to make the confusion a little bit less. Because everybody kind of thought, well, you guys are doing this as the city. I think the city of Crescent City was putting on these events, and it wasn't the downtown partnership, it was the city of Crescent City. So that confusion led to a lot of animosity towards certain aspects of the positions within the organization, so as a separation of church and state.
That was my understanding,
But I believe that was recommended by city staff. So anyway, there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears expended. I think they've made progress in Crescent City, which is not a very affluent town, and we don't have a big population. I think, and Mayor, you got it started. I think they've accomplished quite a bit.
And there are other communities that are smaller than ours. Hastings is one of them who is doing gangbusters, so you have to, I don't want us to limit ourselves just because we're a small community.
Okay,
A small community can do
Okay,
great
but
things.
Mayor, it's my understanding that Hastings has some very wealthy property owners that are underwriting their activities, and that is apples and oranges to what we have
That
right
is,
here.
but they also have to have volunteers in order for that to happen, so. Rachel, I do have a question for you, and then I'll be done. So this money, while it doesn't speak to it in this MOU directly, it is supposed to go to the funding of the executive director. That was the intent for which it was, given.
Yes.
That executive director, I believe, answers to you, is that you?
The
And executive board?
Yes.
Have you set out for that executive director, does he have guidelines that certain hours must be met here in Crescent City?
I'm getting conflicting reports. It's something I wanted to talk to Don Holmes about last week. I did not get a chance.
And that's really one of my biggest concerns, is to make sure, because we have a fiduciary responsibility here. We want to get out of your way. I want you to be so successful that people are using us as a model. And I have all along. And I even said the other night that I feel like we need to do maybe a step back and look at where we are, where our weaknesses are, where our strengths are, and how we can improve on those. But I think that starts with leadership, and I know you just taking that over.
Yes, very new position, thank you.
Yes, and so this is in no regards, please understand,
It's not.
criticism towards you. We understand, we understand, so we have a,
Mayor, can I-
you need to say
yes, I'd
something.
like to make a suggestion. I'll make this quick and concise. I believe under a mutual agreement, you can modify the MOU. I believe that you can make the obligation stronger and come up with an agreement between both parties. One of them that I believe would be important for me to look at, and something that would help you all, is not a quarterly report that goes with their money that they're asking for, but a monthly report that's given to the city manager that I could include into my city manager report, so you all know what they're doing every single month and how they're meeting their obligation. If there are other clear, definitive, articulable obligations that you wanted to add, that's something that I believe we should work together to come up with a mutual agreement and modify the current MOU, and that's my suggestion.
So,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I've,
If you pull your
Fortunately-
microphone, I'm sorry, you're like,
most people can normally hear me, but okay. I've dealt with a lot of Main Street, downtown, Palatka, different programs. And one thing that I think seems to be inherent is a lack of definition in terms of expectations and delivery. And I understand, I heard you say that y'all, it was your intent to give them their wings and let them fly, so to speak. But that's the opposite of defining expectations and then having them report on deliverables, right? So it may be that it would be good for everybody, both sides, to figure out exactly what the concept is that you're looking to employ. Under the contract, you're obligated to pay them $12.5 unless you can come to the agreement that they failed on one of these obligations. That, I didn't write the contract, but it's here. So if they're at a point where they're struggling to reorganize, you're struggling with what you're getting, maybe it's not a bad time for you mutually to sit down and try to figure out if there's an expectation that they think they can meet that will satisfy you. When I have over the years talked to young attorneys that have been in my firm, I've told them that from my experience, one of the biggest issues that attorneys run into if they have clients with problems is a lack of communication or understanding at the outset as to what the attorney thinks he can provide and what the client expects. Because if you don't have that clear at the outset, you're destined for failure. That's just fact. I can explain it if you need it, but I don't think it. You do. And that applies to what you're doing here too. If there's not a clear understanding from them of your expectations and then an honest assessment by them of whether they can deliver, we're just gonna go through this every time 12/5, every time the payment comes up. So maybe that's the answer, is you go through this every time the payment comes up until the year's over and then you don't fund them again. Or maybe, I heard someone say they thought there was too many events, and then I don't know, someone else may not think there's too many events, and I don't know what their thoughts are as to what they think they're accomplishing or their method of accomplishing it is. But maybe what Derek is suggesting is not a bad idea, that you guys sit down together and talk about what the commission thinks they're trying to accomplish through this Main Street or through funding it. If you're not funding it, then you don't care what they do. I mean, theoretically, I guess.
Yeah, if we didn't have that, and that's where I'm falling out to, is that,
That's the problem.
we've got the fiduciary responsibilities.
And to be fair on that point, the executive director has asked us twice to have a workshop with them, and we have not.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
So we can set up a
We said we
workshop,
would.
we can set up a workshop, to go over that and see what options are there.
But we do have a motion.
We do have a motion, I think we've got some people that probably want to speak, so I'll open it up for public comment. Do we have anybody that would like to come forward and speak? Please come forward, state your name and your address if you will.
My name is Jane Ellen Creevy. I'm at 828 Orange Avenue, Crescent City. And I have been placed in the director of the art for the downtown partnership. So all the windows and all the plants and all that kind of been my responsibility since I started with them. But I want to tell you that I only started a year and a half ago. I was invited by someone from my church that was very, very active in doing all of the huge amounts of responsibility that it takes to do this downtown partnership. And as you know, I entered it with probably a lot of volunteers and a whole different set of people that were running the whole boat, so to speak. And I was kind of taken back because I've been here 30 years. And they were pretty much telling me when I first met them that we hadn't accomplished anything here in Crescent City. Well, since I've been here, I've been picking up garbage on the side of the road, helping to develop the trees that are down the center of the highway here. And I've been on many boards since I've been in Crescent City for 30 years. And actively done everything I could. Even when I wasn't living in town, I was coming to town to pick up garbage along the side of the road. But that's who I am. I've always been a hands-on person, but always looking to see something that would improve Crescent City. Because I've come from other places and been on many city council meetings and made many suggestions on what my little towns, and every single one of them that I lived in was small, just like this one. But I probably moved 34 times in my life. But when I met Crescent City, I've been here now 30 years. I haven't wanted to go anywhere. But while I've been here, they had no activities. And unless you sat at a bar, unless you drank, unless you had a glass of wine in your hand, you had nowhere to go. No activities were even available for us. You know, unless I was part of the AA group, which I always thought, well, maybe I should be part of the AA group. Maybe I'll do something. But anyway, it was that it did not exist until all of a sudden there was this little group called the Downtown Partnership that came along and started doing things and started creating with Cindy at Stella, with music that was in the street and going and hearing jazz bands. Then there was art strolls, there was all these great things, then there was markets. All these great things were happening. And it contributes to all these great people with all this great energy, including you, Michelle, as to make this all happen. And I wanted to be part of it. And when I got there a year and a half, everything's kind of started getting, like Cindy said, we had some of the underlining friction started. Well, like you know, every group has friction. And everybody has volunteers, and they have only a certain amount of energy that they can give to anything. And they got tired. There were people that were doing month after month, they were doing activities. And like you said, we only had a certain amount of people, volunteers, that could put up the decorations of the gazebo. They could put up the lights in the park. They could put up tents down the road when we did Red, White, Blue. And everybody started to you asked where the volunteers went, they were tired. Some of them had jobs that they still went to. Some of them still go back to their jobs. Some of them had hip problems. They've gotten older. So we talk about the exit, about how the people got out of doing volunteer work. That's really the bottom line sometimes. It's pure and simple as that. It's not that we haven't wanted to get people involved. We would love to open up the doors of that partnership, which we have, and have people walk in and have people participate, but they have to be the right people. And they have to have the same kind of energy, not saying that I'm the best volunteer in the world, but have energy and enthusiasm to get things done. And I think that's what we're really looking for. We're looking for people that continue your vision, Michelle, and Cindy's your vision, to continue to do that wonderful job. But it's not always, Tim's not always, you don't open up a door at the partnership headquarters. You're doing work sometimes at home. He's on the computer 24/7, looking for people.
And I hate to do this, but I have to.
Okay, but I'm just telling you, it's not as simple, what do people do? I have somebody that's right next to us, Scott, that's literally looking at Tim every single time he comes in that door. And it's almost like he has to have a time clock as to whether he's there or not. He's there all the time in spirit, and I know him because I've been working with him side by side. And he has that enthusiasm. And just give us the chance to reconnect and go forward and give you what you need. And just give us a chance, Michelle. Just let's do that. Okay, thank you for
Thank
your
you very
time.
much. Okay, do we have any other speakers? Please come forward. I'm gonna ask you to limit your time to 3 minutes. I did let this, thank you.
Angel June, okay, 404 North Lake Street, Crescent City. I sat there and listened to all the comments. And then when you know me and gotten to know me over 13 years since I came out, they know I'm about inclusion. I think a lot of people don't come because they're not aware of whom we are. They ask the question, who's that group? What do they do? It's up to us to bring them in. It's up to us to go out and reach out to the community, to make them feel welcome, and they'll come. They will I get emotional because they won't volunteer. But if they don't know who we are or what we need them for, how could they possibly volunteer? That's been my question since I've been back home. And anyone who knows me, I'm always going to talk about inclusion and diversity. So we reach out and we touch, they'll come. I do believe that. We have to do our homework. And I'm not afraid to stand here and say this. I said 1,000 times over and over and over again. We gotta bring more people from diverse areas of our community because they too make up the body of our community. And if they feel welcome, I'm telling you, they'll be there. And that's something that I plan to get involved with, speak with Rachel and others. I'll go out and create, I'll talk to them. And I guarantee you'll get more people, thus you'll get more volunteers. This is a great organization. It shouldn't go awry. So as you said, give them a chance, give us a chance. I'm looking forward to it, okay? Thank you, guys.
Do we have any other speakers? Okay, please come forward. Yes, ma'am, please come forward. You can. And please understand too, that whether this funding happens or not, it's still, the partnership's still a partnership.
Right.
That doesn't really affect, the partnership can continue to go forward.
I'm Judy White, 25 North Lake Street. I've lived here 36 years, been a taxpayer. And I'm a retired guidance counselor and social and special ed teacher for 17 years. Before that, I was not just a little lady, and now a little old lady who wants to volunteer, but I have a whole foundation of experience in renewing local communities with a movement of people that was global. We did demonstration of local community that is sustainable and economically viable in 24 time zones around the world. We had 3 human development zones and 9 regional zones. And I have been one who trained leaders to do their own development as my part of it. Did a little fundraising too, but wasn't very good. And from my estimation, looking through those eyes, not the little old lady who wants to volunteer, that something is in, that this downtown partnership is in a transition now, and it is in a serious transition, and new things have been happening. There are ideas about making it compatible with what the Main Street guidelines are, and that workshops between the downtown partnership and the commission. And I'm really glad that Derek's involved with especially this economic viability. And I would like to see it continued and funded, not pull the rug out from underneath them. Thank you very much for listening. And thank you very much for making this Main Street happen.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other speakers? Good luck.
I'm sorry, I can't hear Commissioner Warren.
So did you have a card here, this was for public speaking though, in general, right, from the beginning, at the beginning of the meeting, but not regarding this? Okay, I'm gonna hold on to this, and then when this is over, then we'll respectfully honor this. Okay, commissioners, do we have any further discussion? No further discussion, okay, we have a motion on the table to, as this MOU directs for the $12,500. Ms. Taylor, if you would please do a roll call.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Rita,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Nay.
Mayor Myers,
I'm gonna vote nay. I didn't vote for the contract, so I feel like I'm voting nay. So, thank you. Okay, it passes. So $12,500. Thank you all very much.
Can we schedule a workshop?
Yeah, you want to schedule the workshop? Do you have your calendar here, Tim?
Yep.
You've got us here. Let's go ahead and get that scheduled.
Can we do next week?
What day do you want to do next week?
Wednesday's better.
I can do the 18th, I can do the 19th early, but.
Of March or
Okay.
April?
You can do it early.
Mayor, I'm not available the 16th, 17th, or 18th.
Okay,
I have company. I can do the 19th.
okay.
I think, the 24th, 19th is, right, I'm sorry, thank you, Commissioner Lori. The 24th and 25th are fair days.
So let me ask you this, on the 19th, I know y'all have it that afternoon at 4,
Oh, it starts early.
at 2?
It starts early.
Okay, because I was gonna say we could do it 10 that morning, or 9 that morning, but 10. Okay. So we'll go into the next week. What does everybody look like for the following week?
So, actually, Mayor, if we did it late on the 18th, I could do that. I could do like 4 o'clock on the 18th.
Is everyone available on the 18th? At 4, Commissioner Burton? Tim, what does your schedule look like at 4 o'clock on the 18th?
Perfect.
Okay. And it will be here? And, we need to have it here, since all the commissioners are here. I think that would be the best thing for us to do, is to do it here. Okay. 4 o'clock, are you available, Commissioner Moore? Okay. Okay, we'll schedule it then. Thank you.
Thank you very
both.
much.
Thank you
I
both.
look forward to it.
Mayor, is that March 18th?
March 18th. March 18th. Okay, with that, I'm gonna go ahead, and if there's nothing else for the CRA, I'm gonna close our CRA and open up our regular scheduled meeting. Ms. Sid, if you'd like to, for public comment.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the concerned citizens of South Putnam, and I would like to say thank you to all the residents of Crescent City for supporting our Soul Food Festival. I also thank the city commissioners, all of them that participated, Mayor Myers being there from the beginning to the closing of the event. Also our city manager for all of his support. County Commissioner, John Newbold Jr., Sheriff Department, Fire Department, and all the businesses and organizations that sponsored the Soul Food Festival. Thank you all so much. It was a success because of you. Thank you.
No, thank you. You were successful because of all of you and what you put into it.
You guys did a lot of work.
Like I said, I remember when it was a dream and this is the 4th year, and it was incredible to see so many people there enjoying themselves. And again, with all the events, I compliment you because when the music stopped, and it stopped right on time, and the park cleared out, and it looked great. So thank you, and please thank all your members on our behalf.
And you have fun, so thank you.
So we're gonna move on, if we can, let's go to the city manager's report. Does anybody have anything on the city manager's report? Oh, minutes, okay, so you did do that,
We did.
didn't catch that first part of the
Signed
meeting.
it though to get my report.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part of the meeting, I didn't know what you had done with that, so let's go ahead and go to the minutes if we can.
Okay, and Mayor, I had sent, corrections and additions that I have some, do you wanna, well, I guess we need a motion, right?
Yes,
Okay, I'll move, I was gonna do these separately. I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting for December 11th, 2025, with corrections that are accepted.
do you wanna go? Everybody had a chance to review those corrections, is everyone in agreement with her corrections? I apologize, I did not.
Mayor, there's an issue, I cannot, say exactly, wait, it's not, this must be, okay. For December 11th, there are two things, there are no, I think we had talked about having, dates and page numbers at the bottom of the minutes, and we don't see them here, hopefully we will, later. The one set of corrections I have for the December 11 minutes, I can't add that information. The page that was missing, the reason that we pulled them and didn't approve them at the last meeting, in item number 4, which is the second page, the missing page, actions that we took were approval of 3 sets of minutes, July 31st, November 13th, November 25th. When I look at this page, it does not show who made the motion and the second. So that would be the correction that was needed, but the clerk or whoever, someone would have to go back and look and put in who did the motion and second for the 3 minutes that were approved. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I don't think I had, I didn't know anything else, I don't know if anyone else did.
Okay, does anybody else have changes? Everyone else is good with that? Yep. So we have a proper motion, we have a second. We're gonna go ahead and by voice call, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay.
Aye.
Okay, so approved, let's move on to February 12th, 2026.
Okay, drop it. I will move that we approve the minutes of, is it the regular meeting for February?
Yes,
the regular meeting, February 12th, 2026. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. She's let her finish her motion, I'm sorry. Finish your motion, please.
Okay,
Make your motion.
With any corrections that are accepted.
Okay, with corrections,
Right,
correct?
with corrections.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a proper motion, and a second. Commissioner Moore, go ahead. I apologize.
Okay, I think it was on page 2, I believe. Where it mentions the sorority is Zeta, Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Zeta Nu Zeta chapter. So it says Beta,
Okay,
Beta Phi Beta.
how does that?
Zeta, V-E-T-A, Zeta.
Okay, okay. So it's Zeta Phi.
Zeta Phi Beta.
Okay,
Sorority Incorporated.
okay,
Okay, so that's Zeta Phi Beta.
Okay.
That was enough.
we got anything else? Okay, then we have a proper motion and a second. I'll do,
I have corrections and additions for these minutes that I sent out. Right, for February
you
12th.
sent those out to the commission, right?
Correct.
The commission
Well, I gave
documents,
them-
everybody had a chance to review those? Okay, is everyone in agreement with those corrections? Yes, Commissioner DeVito?
Well, one of them is a question. and that, and you might have the answer to it, and it's hard when they don't have item number 7, community development. Or when they don't have pages, it's hard to find. Okay, somehow, if you look on item number 7 and go down almost to the bottom of the page and it says CRA signage, this would be the February 12th regular meeting, it says entrance signage proposals were presented and deferred to the March agenda for public input. It has them taking place during the community redevelopment agency. Was that when, because you made the proposal?
Yeah, I don't believe it was during the CRA, I think it was in the business.
That's what I thought.
So we'll change that to
So,
under business, okay.
Move
So we
to,
need to move that.
move to business section, there were a few things that were out of order, okay, so I'll check that off. Blah, 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 item 10, consent agenda. Hold on. Okay, if you flip over 2 more pages and you go to the consent agenda, I mean, I honestly don't know.
So we're at the consent agenda.
Right, we're at the
And
consent agenda.
what do you have on there?
Okay, well, you kind of have to follow this along. So third bullet under consent agenda was review of grievance and harassment policies. It's my understanding, and these are in my corrections and additions that I sent. I do not see, we decided to pen those, we talked about
I
that.
asked to remove that, I asked.
Right, to remove it from the
From the
consent
consent
agenda.
agenda.
And
We need to remove the engineer, water rate improvement contract.
right, well, I think that part is correct, but what I don't see is that we ever discussed, when you go to the very last page of the minutes, where it shows that we extended to 10:15, there is no reflection that I can find that we ever talked about the grievance and harassment policy.
I don't
We already talked about that on there.
I don't think
We did, no, because that's when you talked about
Yes.
taking out vice mayor.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that the discussion we had and whatever direction or request, I don't see that later in the minutes. I just don't see it.
Okay, so we need to check on that.
Okay, and then, as well, the emergency resolution burn ban is in this section under consent agenda. It's my recollection that we addressed that, at a different point in the meeting.
Because Don had to rewrite it,
Yes, he did.
so we
And
just
that's,
need to check
and
that
we
out.
actually did that at the end.
That's what I thought,
That's
after
what
we
we did at the end.
extended the meeting. So that's in the wrong place, and as well, I don't think the verbiage, that describes, I don't think the verbiage accurately describes what went on. My suggestion is that we take out, the last 2 paragraphs and just say, I mean, Attorney Holmes said the resolution as presented was not the one he provided and exceeded our authority under state law, and we needed to follow the county burn ban ordinance, and I've got a typo in burn on mine. It was agreed the city attorney would redraft the resolution.
So how do you want to rewrite this?
I'm saying I put it in here for consideration later in the meeting.
So that's what you gave though for your recommendation,
Yes.
correct? Okay, then we've already done,
Okay.
and everyone's already read over that.
Yes.
Under business items, to the part about Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society.
Is this part of, is this what you've also?
Yes, I sent it
Okay,
in.
so do we need to go, why do we have to go over that again if they've also?
If they're all okay with it, then
They said
that's fine with
they've
me.
already reviewed those.
Okay, well, in that case, because the others were more of a question.
Okay.
So
do you have anything else that was not included in your, suggestions?
No.
Okay, okay. With that, we have a proper motion by Commissioner DeVito and a second by Commissioner Maury. I'm gonna do a voice vote, so if everyone all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, so moved. Let's go to the last set. We're gonna go to, February 26th, it's a special meeting that we had. Entertain a motion, please. Do we have a motion on this?
She is correct, yes, so
Yeah.
make the motion, Lisa.
Okay, so I move that we approve the minutes of the February 26th special meeting with corrections, and I have sent those corrections in,
Okay,
including, I think a comment by Commissioner Burton as resident on the lake was actually Commissioner Moore. And anyway, I sent them, if anybody has any problems, it's fine with me.
I will agree that Commissioner Burton is not the only way.
Right.
And Commissioner Burton
I
has.
don't think she's spoken to that.
okay.
Right.
Do we have, is everyone, in agreement? Do you have any other changes?
I don't.
Nobody has any other changes? Okay. Then with that, we've got a proper motion by Commissioner DeVito and a second by Commissioner Lori. Voice vote, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, so approved. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the city manager's, report. Does anybody have any questions on the city manager's report? Everyone's good? Commissioner DeVito.
I have, actually, I have a question about, two questions about the finance department. I think I had asked in my written questions. Mr. Martin, are you listening? Because these are for you. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So, under finance, I had asked, what is the status of closing out the year end? And you said you thought you would have figures for us by tonight, but do we have? I anticipated having those figures, but our financial director, has not given those to me, so I did not disperse them to you all. He just, right before we got here, he just left it. He probably just took the rest, for the restroom. But, well, that's okay, but just, do we have a ballpark idea of when we're gonna have the year-end figures? I'll be honest with you, today was a little off the rocker, not a normal day. Right. And I did not, and I did not have that meeting that I was gonna have with Steve. Sure. And, so, when he gets back, he can answer that question for you. Okay, and then the other question about the finance department is, it sounds, sorry, can I go on? It sounds in the city manager's report under finance as if, are we still hiring the CPA? I forget her last name, Julianne, that talked about a private contractor. Julianne is still assisting Steve for the closeout of 2024 and starting the 2025 audit process. They're doing both simultaneously. Okay, did we budget for that? Because I thought we had a discussion that we needed to phase out the outside accountant. And that is the plan, and the financial director knows the finances, and he can answer that question when he gets back. Okay, and then, I mean, this is my question for the rest of the commissioners. I thought we had spoken about this before. Did we intend to put in budget funds to, still hire the outside CPA? Was that our plan?
No, what was your plan?
I thought we were phasing it out.
And so we were, but they're helping us close out the year.
So I'm just, I guess Steve will have to, and I believe we did increase or at least maintain a level of funds available for that help in our last year's budget. Yes, I just don't know the figures in front of me off the bat. Steve would know that. So
he's been down staff, so I don't know how expecting.
Well, I'm just saying, we talked about it, I didn't know how it fell out. The other thing is I've been, having questions, and I have questions myself. I met with you and, Mark Corrett about the downtown business district zoning. Yes. What is the timetable for that? Is that, he said it's an administrative rezoning. When is that, what is the timetable? When is that supposed to be done? And it's not necessarily that I want it to be done, but I want to understand the timetable.
At this point in time, I have not had that discussion with Mark Correct. I know that they were tightening up a couple of things in their reports. And I was gonna be anticipating having a meeting with them very shortly about that timetable, so I can let you all know in our weekly meetings. But I can't tell you, I don't have that timetable.
So is that supposed, are we gonna get any kind of report to the commission? Is that gonna come back to us for approval?
Yes, ma'am,
It
absolutely,
is gonna come to us for approval.
absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Okay. With an opportunity for public comment.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I believe that goes to P and Z first, and then upon recommendation, it'll come to you all.
Okay, because I looked at the zoning and read it, it just doesn't say the process that it will go through.
Yes,
That's something I think Mr. Brett, designs. Okay, so I'm looking for my notes, okay. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. Oh, I just wanted to say a special thank you. I read the report of billing utilities on how they handled, we had them here at the special meeting.
Yes.
Right, how they handled high bills, for gas because of the cold weather and the higher gas prices. And it sounds like they did a very exceptional job.
they did.
Lot of, hard work, direct contact. It said every single person who had automatic billing was contacted.
Yes.
And I have to say, a few people I heard of were upset at having a high bill, which I would be upset. But absolutely, I have not heard anything negative about how it was handled, and that was a real accomplishment.
Jocelyn and her team did a fantastic job.
Right, so, that's all that was my questions, Mayor. Thank you all very much.
No, it stays back to me to answer those questions.
Oh, which was, do we have an anticipated, time when we'll get the report on the closeout for, the 2025 books?
It's gonna be probably within the next week or so.
Okay. And then, would it be possible, like, do we have to wait until the next meeting, or if there's a report on the closeout, would the rest of the commission be interested in having it distributed to us?
That was the plan all along anyway. We'll put together a report and I'll email it to everybody like we normally do with disclaimers, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
With disclaimers.
Yes,
Yeah.
with sunshine disclaimers.
And, right, well, we're not gonna discuss it,
No.
but we
No,
can
but-
see.
But I will put those
Some of
disclaimers
us-
in.
Yes, so we just wanna, just wanna
Yeah.
make sure.
And we'll get that out to everybody. Yes, ma'am.
And the only concern I have is when you do that, is just please make sure that you've checked it very thoroughly, because
Yes.
it, sometimes when it gets to us, it ends up in other hands too. And so we just wanna make sure, because it is public,
It is
once
public
it's
record.
public record, once you send it to us, so that there's no discrepancies
Correct,
per se.
correct.
So that, because we won't be meeting for a little while in order to address those, and so
Okay,
it's an opportunity for unnecessary criticism if it's a discrepancy that,
yes, ma'am.
so, thank you.
Well, Mayor maybe they want to put a watermark on it that says preliminary or draft, until it can be reviewed at the meeting. I don't know.
And I guess you had one other question for Steve as far as Julianne.
No, well, I thought the city manager really answered that.
Okay. I just wanna make sure.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lori, do you have anything?
No, I'm
Okay,
good to go.
okay. Commissioner Moore?
I'm good.
You good? Commissioner Burton? I have, if it's okay, first off, Commissioner Warren, thank you. You stepped in last minute, you did a great job, I listened, and thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you keeping everything rolling. And, I do wanna say a couple of things. First off, we need a cleanup. We haven't done a cleanup. And so I'm looking at the Saturday, March 28th. Yes, sir. Do you have something you need to
No,
say
you just
about?
jogged my memory and I need to have, it's an emergency purchase and I forgot about it, so we need to talk about it.
Okay.
You finish, I'm sorry, I
Okay.
just jogged my memory.
So March 28th, if everyone is in agreement, I've reached out, I haven't heard back from Keep Putnam Beautiful. I think they're in transition now as far as who's heading it up, but Marshall's supposed to be calling me back. But I would like maybe even that whole week, it doesn't even have to be just that Saturday. We can engage some of the high schoolers, but if everybody is in agreement, and I talked to Derek about possibly putting the dump truck over here so that people could dump in it if they needed to, and then that could go out to the dump. If everyone's in agreement, there's a lot of trash on our streets, and so, I also think that we could get, and we've talked about prisoners,
Yes.
coming in and figuring out a program here in Crescent City that can help us with that.
Yes.
Because, we've got to take pride in our city.
Yes.
And that's very important to me. So I don't want to, is everybody in okay with the 28th for us doing a cleanup? You won't be here on the 28th, okay. Well, and you don't have to, you don't have to be there. It's just and whoever's here available that wants to help clean up, how we've done it in the past. I think if we did it, started it at 9 o'clock.
Well, we asked for citywide volunteers.
Yes, we would, yes, we would. So we'll put something out on that if everyone's in agreement. I think it'll just give us a chance to kind of spruce up. We've got a lot of events. We have catfish that next weekend. We've got the boat races the next weekend. And then May 2nd, we've got the concert the country concert that they're doing in the park.
Correct.
And so we got a lot of people that are gonna be, and this is a chance for us to showcase, and we wanna look as best as we can, so if everybody's okay with that. Also, as we all know, I'll just give you a report as what I know. Winn-Dixie is slated to close, May 31st, and they will be closed approximately 8 months to a year. I had a great conversation with Mary at Save a Lot, and I don't know how many of you, and I apologize, I had hoped to have copies of this made, but Mary made at Save a Lot, she posted, because when I look it up, when you look up communities trying to save their Winn-Dixie, Crescent City pops up. And Mary's Facebook page, I guess she did a Facebook post about Save a Lot and all that they offer. And so I really think that, I wrote a letter that if the commission wants to, that we can try to make one more push. I have been told, by numerous people and even people in the industry that have said, basically, this isn't gonna change. That Aldi and Trader Joe both have their own, they have their plan, and this is their plan, and regardless, unfortunately, they're not going to. I have a letter, I'll be happy to share it. I had meant to make copies, but things kind of got in the way today. If y'all decide, you can let Derek know, that we can send as a last ditch effort to them. But in lieu of that, we need to get behind what we have here. And Mary at Save a Lot, they're doing a lot there. They're gonna do some facelifts, they're gonna do some cleanup. They do offer meat cutters. So their corporate has been in there trying to figure out how they can better serve our community. She did ask, so please, if you can, also support Save a Lot, and she is trying to hire as many as an employees as she can, because we will be losing about, 83 people will be losing. She asked about the flag signs, and so this is a question for Pam and for the commission, that they used to put the, what are those called, feather signs, yeah, that they asked if it was possible that they could put some out there, like fresh cut meat, they could put some things out there, so when that Winn-Dixie closes, as people drive through, they'll know that there is an opportunity there. So
Rules about how many that can be in.
Yeah. We do,
Yeah.
but we also have the opportunity that if we need to waive any of that, because we've waived it before for them. So Pam, how
They're
many?
allowed 3,
So they are allowed 3,
and they need to be on the property.
and they need to be on the property, which would be, for Save a Lot, it would be behind the hedge, right there behind the sidewalk, correct?
Well, if they're in the DOT right away, DOT may take them.
So if they're behind the hedge, where would they put them? Would you help them, Pam? I guess that would be the thing.
I'll
If
go out
you
there Monday.
could. So commission, we're okay with them putting the 3 feather flags out there? Okay.
Yes, but Pam is to DOT what 811 is to
I know,
the, putting stuff in the ground. They need Pam's help.
yes. But I told Mary that, I would bring that up, tonight so that they could at least have that, but she is, everybody, we do, and I explained that to her, that in no way were we trying to discredit Save a Lot. We were trying to save as much as we possibly can save here in Crescent City, we were trying to save. So, anyway, that's really, all I have.
Mayor, could I respond to that or?
Sure.
Okay, so, I haven't seen your letter, but my feeling is that, we just owe it to Crescent City. You laid out the reasons last year that Dixie was important to our economic development. I think we owe it to do every last possible thing that we can. And it is my understanding from our chamber that we can offer an incentive. I think we missed an opportunity to try to get a meeting with the appropriate people. I think we should still try to get a meeting, and as well, if we're gonna be sending a letter, but I don't think Pomona Park and Willaca were ever contacted, is that correct? Because I ran into Kathy Washington at our Soul Food Parade, and she said she didn't know anything about it.
They were aware of it, they were aware of it, yes.
Kathy said she didn't know anything about it.
Well, at the time when we started this, Kathy also wasn't the mayor.
Right, but so.
So maybe it hasn't since then, but
Right, so she
but I haven't.
doesn't know anything. Was Pomona Park contacted?
Yes, they're aware, and
Okay.
I thought they even did a resolution. I
Did
thought
they
they
do a
did, they
resolution?
did something, I thought.
Well, because
I don't know, but I'll find out.
my suggestion would be that we try to do a joint letter.
Well, we could, or we could send, that's a little difficult when we're trying to get the 3.
Well, I mean, if they did a resolution, then you
Yes,
could
and we
work
could
with their
include that,
mayor.
we could include
Yes.
that, as part of this. I can read this to you, and you can vote on it, or whatever you decide to do.
Is this still about when Dixie was?
Yeah.
May I be excused, please?
Let me just adjourn.
I'm very
Hold on,
sorry.
that was Mr. Burton.
The air-
We'll just wait for the minute.
Can I?
Yes.
I'm sorry, to interrupt you again, it's important. Air conditioner's been going out. We've had constant issues with it. I finally got a diagnostic back. We've had an issue where it's popping the actual, fuse. There's a short there. We have to replace the fan. It's $1,650. It's the one up here that runs this whole
It
side of the
runs
building.
this side, not the other side.
So I just need permission for $1,650 to get that fixed. He said that whole AC as a whole will last several more years. We don't have to replace it, but that fan's bad.
Okay, do we need to adjust our agenda for that? We can go ahead and do that. Okay.
You have to have authority to expend more than a certain amount.
It's more than $1,000, yes,
It's more
sir.
than
So he's asking for authority on emergency item.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do I have a
I
motion?
move that we give, Derek Martin emergency authority to buy, to spend more than $1,000 to make emergency repairs to the air conditioner.
From what source? Is that from the general fund or better place plan or?
From wherever.
We still have dollars in the building fund, correct? So we have that building maintenance.
Okay, I'll second. If that, is that part of it?
$1,650.
Okay, so we have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion on this? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Now may I be excused?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
I move that we adjourn. Government's office. Or
Okay,
just send it to us so we can sign it, or do you want?
Do you want to make some copies of it now?
no, they, want to adjourn, you can make copies of it, so, but you're gonna have to approve that, they would have to approve, give authorization to that letter, that's the
Well,
only thing.
I move that we give authorization to send this letter with our signature. Signed for the, you can't sign from the commission, you can sign from the commission, it's not
Okay,
agreed in agreement.
I signed it from the mayor.
when do we next meet?
Us to,
Are we meeting next week?
the workshop.
We could make a special meeting for the resident council of the
We
letter.
don't need to do that. The main leaders are running with the petition, and we should do a fine job right in front of
I
them.
laid everything out just like I did, and I put
Read it right now.
the impact it's gonna have. You can read it right now if you want to.
And you're signing as the mayor, within.
How long
If
will
we're,
it take you
if
to?
we're
We haven't
adjourned,
voted on it
we're
yet.
adjourned. I
We
don't
have
think,
not voted on it yet.
I don't think we have to go for detention.
No, we haven't voted on adjourning the meeting, is what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm saying, I don't think we have people's attention, Commissioner Lori.
We typically don't have anyone's attention at this time.
Okay, well, I'm
So
saying if
it's
we.
no different.
9:30, I mean, how much more do you want us to say?
So we have a proper motion to adjourn. If you want to adjourn, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
If you want to. Okay, so nobody seconded it, so let's get the letter. Please read the letter very quickly so we can adjourn.
Okay. I just know you're ready so you can tell.
Well, wait a minute.
It's okay, that's fine.
Lisa wants to read from the right.
No, I don't. I mean, did we have a motion and a second to adjourn?
No, we do
No.
not.
We do not.
I made the motion, there wasn't a second.
So give him just a second. He'll come with a copy of the letter. You can read the letter very quickly. And I've spoken also to other communities. A matter of fact, one of the city managers called me back, this afternoon before the meeting, and he said that their community, every one of them has told me that they have been unfortunately unsuccessful. So,
Okay, well, maybe we can be successful.
so maybe
Don't
we
just
can.
give up.
Believe me, we haven't. So if everybody wants to read this letter very quickly, please, if you have any changes.
Where's my copy?
I'm sitting into you digitally, that's okay.
I just, let me do this.
And I apologize, I had hoped to get that out this afternoon.
You got me by a dog, okay? You couldn't control that.
It was fantastic.
Oh, no, I thought you could.
But we think though, Major Essery thinks it was mixed with tin, he's not sure.
Yeah, this was the story. Yeah. That's what the narrative is.
Just gives you aspirations and a goal
To
for
run
your,
faster,
for your training, that's right.
to run faster.
You don't have to run faster than everybody, but you gotta run faster than the fast that have, that's right.
You gotta run faster.
Sorry.
My husband, the man on the golf course told my husband too, he says, well, you obviously doesn't run very
Okay,
fast.
may I have a suggestion?
Yes.
Instead of what it means for us, I would say, number one, I would request to, meet with their representatives. And I would say that, the response from residents may indicate that the Aldi model will not be as successful in this area as they think it will be, and we encourage them to reconsider, and we would like to meet with them to talk directly about their assumptions and plans. I mean, I think we need to say that straight out. They don't really care about the effect on our community, as I understand it. They care about whether they will be successful. And I think to
Okay,
me,
so realign that to say, okay,
right, and to offer to meet with them.
okay.
Because I mean,
I didn't know how strong you wanted to be with this, and I'll reach out, I'll make phone calls also, I now have some names.
Sure, but I guess what I'm saying is it's not that it's mean to say that, it's the blunt fact. There's not an enthusiasm
So where do you want,
for this brand. Mayor, I would leave that up to you.
we respectfully ask, okay,
Well, I would say, we would like you to consider that you, because there is not, wholehearted enthusiasm, and there's great loyalty to Winn-Dixie, that these plans may not be as successful
All these
as you
works and
think they will be.
all
So,
these works is still situations when there's options.
Okay.
right,
And there is no
Exactly.
option.
Right.
For 50 miles both directions.
Okay.
exactly.
And
So-
that doesn't serve them or us. And that's-
Well,
I think
Mayor, that's great language, that the result may not serve them or us. I think Commissioner Lori hit it on the head.
two things to do.
Okay.
No, I think that is well said, and the part about in this area, there's not the same.
I would thought that, since right here,
Okay, or in DeLand, you know, you can, within
It does.
a few blocks, you can have photos.
That's moving at this very high, but I looked at their PPAP, and not just two, I'm like, maybe.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Believe me,
that's gonna be.
Right,
I
okay,
just don't even know
Thank you
PPAP.
for doing the letter.
absolutely.
It's the very hard part, but I would
So
just
is everyone
refocus.
in agreement? Do you want to do a motion with this?
Yes, I move that we authorize the mayor to send the letter with the changes suggested by Commissioner Lori and me, and specifically, asking for an appointment to meet with the representatives.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so adjourn. Thank you at 9:39.
We made so fast, Rick, when you got. I skipped all this.